What do you mean?
Did you see Courtney's story with the no Zaku Boy?
Oh no, I haven't seen
Zaku
it
Boy, Zaku Boy.
Yeah. Well,
we are live now, so hello and welcome to the next Four Horsemen stream. I am Zaku Boy, also known as James, and it is a pleasure to have you here. Tonight we will be going over pla plating, scratch building, making some cool stuff for the little SD Zaku. So Geo is on his way. He is running a little bit late.
As usual.
Our special guest for the night may or may not turn up. We will find out later. And we shall start with Tas. So Tas, introduce yourself.
G'day. Gundam Tas 77 from Melbourne, Australia. Saying g'day, how you going? Yeah, I'm excited for this actually. This is going to be great. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. Over to Daft Robo over there. How you going, dude?
What up, boys and boils? It's me, Shane, Daft Robo, over here in the lab. Courtney is making some pasta.
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice.
We like the pasta. Gotta get them carbs. So, yeah, we're started. You're late to the party. Oh, God.
G'day.
Holy shit. She about bitched in the hallway.
Hi, I'm making pasta.
Right.
So
So that was so yes. Hey everyone.
So
how's that for
saying hello to the chat. It is good to see everyone.
Yeah, what up, Billy? Hey, what up?
Hello.
What up, George? What up, Gabe?
Good evening.
Gabe Bailey and Jesus, welcome.
And Jesus.
Jesus, are you coming into the chat? Is this the same Jesus? Different Jesus?
No, same guy. It's weird, but whatever.
Are you coming in, Jesus? No, you don't have to.
All good. So, anyway, from here we are going to take it away. I think that's everything we needed to discuss for the hellos. Once once Geo gets here, he will pop straight in.
Let me put my Camry and such. Let's. Anybody have any questions in the chat about what we covered last time that we might want to go over before we get too in depth into shit?
Yeah. Which way does this go?
What is this?
That way.
What is this? So yeah, what do you got? What do you got going on, Taz? What could we help you out with? While there's many questions, why not answer your questions too?
Like this.
I've forgotten. Like
this, mate.
Am I missing?
I've forgotten how to read.
No, I don't know what this is.
That green peg plugs into the side, mate.
There you go. The green. That way. Jeez. And yeah, right. There it is. Yep. Cool.
Good work. All right. So
all good.
I do not think. Yeah, you're more than welcome to jump in, Jesus, if you want to hang out. That's why we invited you. If not, doesn't matter. We were in the chat either way.
Yeah,
Geo will jump in whenever he wants. Or well, once he gets home. And I just shot a part across the room. We shall see where that went.
Oh, that's gone.
Well, so what we're going to cover first, guys. I want to create a mohawk kind of detail on this hut. I've got two of these. Courtney, we just have snapped them. So I'm going to go kind of. We're going to plan it out on this guy, and then I'm going to actually construct it on my second one. So we're kind of going to plan things out. I'm going to show you my whole process from kind of thought to execution. So what I want to show you guys is how to kind of build boxes, but by doing so, I want a 3D mohawk that's I'm thinking in my head rounded in the back to kind of match this angle, so we can do rounded boxes, but then I want it to go into a sharp angle, almost like a fucking chicken comb, like a rooster comb.
Yeah, nice.
You guys dig that?
I like it.
So what I'm going to use, so guys, basically we're going to do a few different things. Geo couldn't find styrene tubing, so this is going to be, you can use any of these techniques on any size, shape, form of whatever. I'm going to be using at some point some stripping I think I want to go like 3 mil, and I'll show you. We can use I'll show you how to use like just strips like this, or just to use and cut this into strips to use them in the same way. The benefit of using this over this, is you can get this in any size width, and this is like 0.5 mil, but the sides are perfect. They're perfectly flush. When you cut the styrene sheet like this with a ruler and a knife, that angle's never perfect because you're cutting it, you're putting a wedge through a flat surface. So that cut edge is not machined. It's not perfect. So it's a lot easier to like build a shape and then to wrap that shape with this perfect angled strip.
Oh, for sure.
We get it? All right, cool. So what I want to do first is I just want to map out like kind of the shape I want. So I like to use graph paper because, they're perfect squares and they're nice to use and like when you're computing that. So what I do, all of my pieces I make out of paper first.
Yep.
So really, I'm really worried about this angle that's running right here. So like that's going to be the hardest thing. Yeah, I can make my shapes up obviously however I want them. So the top of this is going to be from my own fucking mind, right? So I want this angle to match up. So right now I'm just going to try to get that angle as close as I can with just paper. So it's going to be, I'm just going to be using a pencil and paper. And get a good corner here. But yeah, this is good. This is as basic as it gets, guys.
Now, can I, say I don't have a sheet of paper, just draw it on the side of a piece of ply plate exactly the same way?
Yeah, basically that's what I'm going to do too. And it also helps, guys, I have a shitload of styrene. So like this is the kind of why I wanted to bring up the bread clip thing and this. If you get 0.25 styrene or even 0.5, it's so easy to make templates to draw on it. You can cut it out with scissors. So you can make your templates or anything like that out of even smaller styrene. I guess with the width of the styrene would be, less.
Yeah.
So you can literally get styrene and you can cut out just the way I'm cutting this paper out right now. And what's nice too is once you do that, like a lot of this stuff, if you want a thicker piece, like if you want your end piece to be thicker, so we're going to do part duplication, how I kind of do it. And when you do that,
we're going to do it kind of like you do it or exactly like you do it?
No, we're going to do it exactly. We're going to do it exactly how I do it. So, you'll see that it's easy to take a thin piece of once you can take 0.5 mil and you can just duplicate that piece 8 times and then you can stack it on itself to get 2 mil. So you don't necessarily have to take and try to get a really thick piece. You can just take thin styrene and just stack the shit out of it.
Yep.
Does that make sense at all?
100%.
All right. So I've got my little template here. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my angle just right, kind of how I want it. Now, all of this we can fix too in post. Even when this is done, I think we might run a sheet down to so it's not. What up, Geo?
Oh, look, everybody, Geo's here.
Nice.
Where is my?
That's awesome.
Anyway, sorry about that.
No, I love it. Where do I want this to end? It's not even, it's still not right. So I'm I'm kind of a perfectionist about this shit. So you can use, styrene obviously to make a template, but I'm going to go in a little more. Sorry, I'm off screen. It's all trial and error. This might be a little boring for a moment, but. Yes, Hazy's trying to come in.
Yeah, Jesus, I also sent the link to your email, so if you go to your email address you sent me, you should be able to join that way.
I'm trying to think, and I wanted to start about, I kind of want to go slightly over where the commander fin weird bit comes up from the bottom.
Yep.
And I want to make the whole bend till about here. So basically, I'm constructing the two sides that are going to be the main, these two plates. Just want to get that angle right.
Where'd I put my skizzers?
Where are your skizzers?
Oh wow!
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
This is riveting stuff right here.
Hey, it is cutting paper out.
Cutting paper.
I'm gonna skip the paper. I'm just gonna go straight for the plate.
Do it.
What
are you doing? What's Taz doing? Taz is drawing right on the plate. Yeah.
Like how close?
I'm gonna draw straight on the plate.
Fucking first
See,
shot,
I keep taking it out. Yeah, I keep taking out the angle I want.
So if we go like, so if you cut that, and is it just like enough that, so something like that, that's a perfect cut somehow because I'm that good.
Oh shit! So you drew it like on a. So hang on. So we're cutting this bit off.
What's that?
So we want the angle. So we want the negative space, right? We want the negative. We want the.
All right, no,
the
sorry. I'll do mine over here a bit more.
What's the angle? The convex? I don't know.
Because I want a big ass mohawk.
Concave.
Like a casualties.
We want that. We want this. We want this.
Casualties type mohawk, man. It's like 3 foot high.
Sort of like I used to have in my younger days.
Yeah. And have like leopard print, man.
There's no humility at all, Bailey. What is humility you speak of?
Huh?
Scratch building. The thing about scratch building is not. If you want to do it and have it look good, it's not going to be a very quick process.
No, not at all.
That's closer. See, because I want this back to go down. I'm really concerned about this arc of this angle. I want it to be. I want it to marry this head right here, which isn't bad. I mean, so this is what I've got so far. It's not bad. So this, I think I might take this to some styrene right now, just because I can judge this angle a bit. Judge it.
So once you've got your angle that you're somewhat happy with, like, because I'm also like the way I was thinking about doing it is once I have the rough outline, I'm going to put some plate along this edge of the mohawk as well, so you won't see it if it gaps slightly. Exactly.
So that's what I was kind of thinking too. So that's, we're going to take a strip and run it down the edge of it as well. So that would be fixed in the detailing, but I want it to be good.
Oh yes, I 100% understand.
So I'm just going to trace this now onto some plot plate, and also we can change all this too with filing and fucking. We just need a rough estimate because once we get down to like the plastic, we can adjust that with filing, with sanding. We can refine that edge to where it meets a lot better.
All right.
So this is just kind of my idea of like kind of how I want it. So like this is I'm going to cut all this shit out, right? So like I kind of want it to come up a bit. I kind of want like 2 spikes maybe, and then into like that kind of. I want something like this. Maybe I'm gonna even make this even longer. Now this is rough. I'm gonna make these angles a lot better. I'm really concerned about this angle here. You guys like that? Is it lame?
Oh fuck! I wasn't even looking at the screen, right?
Yeah.
Like what you were doing. I just started sketching what I had in my mind.
What's in your mind? Let me see.
And so this is what I was sketching right now.
Oh, I love it. This is so
Which
good.
is pretty much very similar to yours.
I don't see it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very much. Yeah. So that's cool, too, because you came out, which would be cool, too, because you're going to come out. You'd be coming out like this on the side.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Let's have a look at old mate Taz, what he's got.
Taz, what you got?
Oh, he's going for the typical punk rock mohawk.
Spartan-y era. Yeah.
So I'm gonna I guess like edge these so they kind of look hair. But it's gonna be leopard print, man. It's gonna be leopard print.
Oh yeah.
Leopard print.
Yeah, you gotta have a leopard print, man.
So like 0.5 styrene, I can cut with just regular scissors too. So something else you can easily do. Let's see how this looks. Not as good as I'd like. Not bad. So this is what I'm talking now. So like I can take this right now and I can make with my pencil like so like this edge is good right here in the front, but it's not. It's hitting. It's hard to hold this end point at it. It's hitting at this edge here. So I can actually mark with my pencil like I need to take this down a bit.
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm gonna.
You can use a knife.
I think I may have screwed up a bit, so I'm gonna give him a rat's tail.
There is no screwing up there. You're gonna what?
The angle is a bit weird. The curve. So...
That's what she said.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know if that's a complaint or not though.
It all depends on how severe the curve is.
So say I'm happy with mine. Do I just go ahead and cut out now?
Yeah, I mean, are you happy with the angle and everything? Yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, you just want to get one side. So, I mean, ideally, we're just wanting one shape that's going to be one of the sides of the box.
Oh, for sure. Scissor time.
No, I'm gonna have to redo mine.
Now it's sitting here, but is this filing annoying? I can kind of not do it on.
It's all good, mate.
Yeah. I've got to do mine again.
One sec, Jesus. I will try again.
Redo.
What's going on with Jesus?
Nice. It's a redo. So basically, we just repeat this a few times to make it a bit thicker, right?
Yeah. Well, what I do is once I get a shape down, I will cut that out a few times. But to make it perfect, I will glue the pieces together very slightly. So I'll put like 2 drops of glue and glue all 8 pieces together, or however much. Like right now, I'm just going to use 2. I mean, we're only making a box, so I don't need to double up the pieces right now because we're going to make a hollow box.
Yeah, that's
so
what I thought as well.
The whole mohawk isn't going to be. It's not going to be full. It's going to be hollow. So once we have our shape, we just need 2 perfect copies of that shape. I'm not happy with mine yet.
Yeah, I had to redo mine. I'm sorry, guys. Fucking slowpoke Rodriguez over here.
No, that's cool. I'm doing the same, man.
But as far as the
I like the way James's comes out a bit. So I'm changing mine back. Like I want it to come out of the back, and I'll save that too because that angle meets a little better there and not towards the back. Oh shit! Yeah. So I'm gonna make this even bigger, but this is So I'm gonna roughly cut this bitch out. How's the chat going? Anything going on in there?
Sorry, I'm just sending Jesus another. I re-emailed it.
Jesus says, repeat with a few times to make it thicker. Are we still doing that? What she said jokes. We always.
Yeah, always.
Bailey, our lives are constant. That is what she said jokes.
Name me a sex tape.
So the metal ruler comes in handy when we cut the styrene, just because it's an edge you can run your blade against. It's not going to cut into. If you can, by all means, this is the best tool for the job. Is this like a hobby? The Wave T-Square. This is probably my number one used scratch build tool. Is this fucking little T-Square? I love it. But I don't want to use it because it's hard to get. So I'm trying to use this. So you guys, these you can get at like Hobby Lobby.
Don't look at me using scissors.
Or scissors. Right? Well, I'm trying to get my angles a little bit better.
God hand scissors, and not easy to get.
Are you using the God hand scissors? Oh yeah, you bastard.
They're so good.
God hand scissors.
All right, so And then we're pretty much just taking this and making two, yeah?
Yeah, we're going to make two. So once you get the piece, I literally put 2 pieces of glue, and I'll glue it to itself to cut out 2 perfect ones. But then I'll actually I'll sand and file the edges down. So I mean, we want them to be as close to, we're going to be close to exact copies as possible, because we're going to be putting a perfect edge around them. So any of this stuff, it can be fixed with putty and shit, but it's like, do you want to fix it with putty and shit?
I'll fix it with putty. Don't know about the shit. Fucking. I mean, I'm up for like new techniques and materials, man.
But not shit per se.
Yeah.
Bailey, we will be boxing, from what I gather.
Are we boxing?
What is Bailey asking?
He was asking if we're stacking or boxing.
We're boxing, right?
We are going to be boxing. So I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, nah. What's yours look like? What's yours look like, James?
So,
I see yours.
if we go like something like along those lines, the bigger is.
No, in the back. Ooh, I like that.
The what?
I said I like
love it in the back.
I like it bigger. I like it bigger. I like it bigger in the back.
Ooh.
Even better.
Yeah, for sure. Boxing is definitely more interesting to show.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show you some tools too that I used to do a little bit more than I think might be new. James is impressed with my Vice.
I'm always impressed. I'm always impressed with things that you show me.
Oh, stop.
Impressive.
Most impressive.
Just send a text message through Hangout. I can't actually check that. Jesus.
I love you call him Jesus. It's just
funny.
It's just so great. I love it. So I say hey Zeus, but Jesus sounds so much awesomer.
It's so good. Anyway, yeah.
All right, so this is kind of what I want. Ooh, shit, yeah. I think it looks pretty
nice.
Cool. Yeah. So then I'll get some more 5mm styrene. Hey, look, will this fit on the piece I just cut out? Yeah. See, we always want to reuse some shit. Look at that. I can get my second copy out of the piece, the negative I cut out from that.
Nice.
This is the angle. This tip's a bit wonky. That's what she said.
So when you say you put like a dab of glue, do you just use like plastic cement to hold it in place?
Yeah, I don't use super glue. I tend not to use super glue when I scratch build. I'm just not. I only use super glue for like filling gaps and not really even gaps. I'd say more like the
oh yeah, like I don't
and shit like that. Yeah, but
when I use super glue either. It's just if I put like 2 little dots, wouldn't that melt the pieces together somewhat and make it a pain in the ass to pull apart?
Well, I will show you, sir. So what? Let me get this. Why are you rushing me, man?
Oh, I was just asking questions.
No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus
so
Christ.
I'm going to use plastic magic. You guys can use Tamiya Thin. Tamiya Thin will work a little better, I guess, for this because we don't want to make we're not trying to do crazy, contact on these. We just want them to adhere enough to stay together where I can cut this, file it, sand it without them coming apart or shifting because it's just, you want them not to shift. So I'm going to probably put 3 drops, maybe 4. I want the tip not to move.
Just the tip.
I might do 5. You still have to put a whole lot on there.
Yeah, just enough that it's easy enough to cut back apart. Yeah.
Right. So then I'll take my chisel. I like to use you've seen this big ass chisel fucking blade I use, but so I'll use this or even just your knife and just to split them apart once you get them. Once you get it together. Once you get it.
Aye.
get the piece perfect.
I've never thought about gluing. I always just sort of held it with my fingers and cut it out to replicate things. But that's a way better idea.
Bitch. But see, if you're making a box, you have this. You'll have a little ugly bit where the glue marks are. But if you put them on the inside of the box, you'll never fucking see them. Yeah,
exactly. That's like even I've learned something today. That is good.
Yay!
Yeah, sorry, Jesus, man. We'll work it out for another stream, definitely.
Yeah,
we're not having too much luck with special guests.
Is it gonna run through both scenes? Like, are we gonna fully cover this bit?
You can make it as thicker as thin as you would like, I assume.
See, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what we're gonna. Because now, see, that's what we have to play with. So we're gonna have our two outsides of the box, and then we're gonna play with how wide it's gonna be. And if we're gonna put a strip on the bottom, where these edges meet, you might, if we want to keep that detail or not, we might think about how wide we want it to be.
Yeah.
I like working with 0.5 mil because you can cut it really easily.
Yeah, I also found like for everything I'd been doing on the goof, 0.5 was my go-to.
Yeah,
and I used some 0.2 for some finer details here and there, but it's not really needed.
No, it's not because Geo's in the house.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit, there he is. What up, dude?
Hey, man.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Look who it is.
Well.
Well, welcome, buddy. Everyone will say hi to Geo.
Hi, Geo.
Oh, first thing we should do when we're using cement after we're using it, put the lid on.
Yes. Learn from smart people and put the lid on.
It's the last thing we should do.
Well, it's the last thing you should do.
Should we catch up, Geo? Geo, where you at? What you got going on?
I just dropped a Zaku. I've been watching. I see that you guys are working on mohawks. So let me disassemble.
Do what you want.
So what are we doing? We're drawing that spike thing on top of the head?
Yeah, come up with whatever style of like mohawk or fin or anything you really want to put on the top, to be honest.
I think this angle's a bitch right now.
So at the moment, yes, we're just replicating parts. The other good thing I like about love about styrene as well. So if we look at, say, this, I've just run my knife along this inside and cut it deeply, not that deep, but enough that you can bend it and flex it, and it should break.
Yeah,
it just makes it a lot easier. I probably could cut it a bit more than I have, but it just means you don't need to try to cut the whole way through.
What am I using?
Yeah, if any of you guys have the Tamiya scriber, or I don't know why it's called a scriber, it should be called a
plastic cutter.
Exactly. You can use it. That's what the only purpose is for snapping really thick styrene.
All right, and how many of these are we making, boys? That's the only part that I missed.
We're making two. We're gonna be making. We want to replicate and make two perfect copies.
All right.
Now, this is another good use for a ceramic scraper if you have one.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of a file, you can just run the ceramic scraper along both edges once the two bits are together.
Exactly. So now, that's a perfect use for that.
And then that just shaves off. It shaves it off enough. Who's like crinkling paper like a jackass?
That's me.
Typical Geo.
What is crinkling?
So,
what is it?
If I just keep scraping, it works really well because it just smooths everything as well at the same time.
Maybe I should use my ceramic scraper.
Ooh, maybe you should. So does anyone have any questions so far? Chat or in stream with us, either way.
Yeah. Do we have a... Would
you like to know more?
I'm going to use a purple colored pencil for Jimmy.
Thanks, man.
Good.
All right, cool.
Purple is pretty badass.
Yeah, Jimmy, the first thing you need to do when we get off the stream is go watch Courtney's fucking story.
Alright. I will check it out. The last I saw of her story was you bowling.
Oops.
Well, it was before that, so you must have missed it.
Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I must have missed it. Sometimes I just like press the story button and walk away, and then it's like I've read everyone's story without actually seeing.
It's still playing story. I do that too. It's like, oh shit, what's going on? I'll put it in my pocket, and then I'll start hearing something like, what the fuck? And I'll pull it out, and just stories are playing. Like, oh shit.
All right, so now I have 2 perfect copies.
Are they perfect? Then?
Well, close enough is good enough, right?
If it's good enough, it's good enough.
Like, because once I start gluing the other bits on anyway, I've got to file it down. So what if I'm like, it's pretty close. Like, I think it's perfect, but it might be slightly off. Although that glue idea has made it a lot easier.
Especially to get fine little, like, to get points like this. If you were trying to glue 2 pieces of styrene and get them to match up, it wouldn't be.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm officially think, who the fuck's feeding back?
Say what?
I'm hearing, like, feedback.
I was hearing it too, but I don't hear it now.
No, we're good. All right, so anyway, that is pretty good. How's yours going, man? Your hands are not on camera. Nice.
Taz, how's yours, bud?
Hang on.
Oh, no, you take your time. Take your time.
It's a bit. That back bit isn't flush to the really
the head.
But
let's see. That's good enough. Oh, right there. Well, yeah. Did you want? You could just take it out, like so where it marries good. Like stop it there, and then cut the rest off.
True. And you can also like the one thing I like to do with say mine didn't match up that well on this piece. What I've done a few times is once I've glued it, I've actually like cut little bits of styrene and just wedged them in there, and with the thin cement it melts them. So then you can tend to sand it and hide like little mistakes. Like I'll glue little bits of styrene in to fix other bits.
Oh yeah. At the end, if it melts it together, we're just filling the gap right there. That's all we want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like I'll put a box and then I don't know, do like a little mullet on him probably.
Yeah, sweet.
So that's the thing too. Is like we could do a complete square. Yeah, like Jimmy's is really angular, which is good.
Can you see yours, Jim?
What's that?
What?
Give me a look at yours.
So mine looks very square. Yeah, that's you had a good point. Like another thing you can always do is fill that little gap with putty as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're happy with how it is and you want to keep it like that, yeah, putty will work. So I've discovered one thing with the way I've done mine, like the notch on the back here, I didn't notice, but as soon as I put the head together, that notch is exactly where that back part is. So it makes everything sit higher. So I'm actually going to have to trim off and flatten off that bottom section some.
It's going to look like fucking Birdie's mohawk if I put a hole right there.
What's that say?
I'm going to put a hole right here.
So this is what mine's kind of looking like.
You know it would be good, Taz, before you cut said hole, because we're making a box. Now, if you put a hole, you're going to have that hole on the other side. Have you got any of the styrene tube?
I sure diddly doodly.
So what I would recommend you do for that hole, if you've got the hole, just get your styrene tube because we're doing the box, and you can put the styrene tube and cut it to the length of width of whatever the mohawk you're making will be. Glue it to the inside of each of the 2 pieces, and then you've got a hole.
Oh, that's going to be so fucking cool.
Styrene
I might put like a piercing around it or some shit, man.
Fuck yeah, do like a metal rivet through a ring through. Fuck yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it.
This thing.
I like that whole idea.
I'll do it like that. I think, hey.
I'm going to rip you off and steal that whole idea, Taz. I hope you don't mind.
We can, see, right?
And this is the fun part about scratch building, is coming up with ideas on the fly.
It's all whatever you can fucking... That's the thing about styrene. I mean, you can literally build anything out of this shit, man. If you get the old, the old Gundam scratch build the manuals, the Japanese ones, I'm not even sure when they came out. I mean, they build full kits out of nothing but styrene and putty, man.
That's crazy.
Like, they're building Zaku. There's like an F2, like, completely scratch built in there, and it's like, what? Like, they show you how to make this head. They show you how to scratch build a fucking Zaku head, like, from nothing.
What?
You put a post in it, like, you put a post in the center, and then you, like, since you make it like this, right? You make this angle, you mount it to a piece of styrene tubing like this. And then you put it through the center of something else that you completely covered in putty, so that when you roll it around, it actually will. It's like icing a cake, but it's like icing, and then you just let it dry and you sand it down, and you can like make this like perfect dome shape.
Really cool.
Yeah, they're really cool, but they're all in Japanese. So like you just like once you get the really interesting bit, it's nice to have it on a tablet and then have your phone with like Google Translate, and you just like literally are just translating shit as you go.
For sure. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want to, like...
Hey, can I use this?
What were you saying, Jim?
So here's my pattern.
Yeah.
Rich.
Jesus.
Cool.
Cool.
Can I use...
That's it.
Can I use this?
Let me see that.
Can I use this to cut it?
Yeah.
I would use that.
But
I would use... Do you have scissors?
Scissors or a knife. If you've got a hobby knife, that'll work well. Yeah, like just use that. If you've got a steel ruler as well to get sharp angles, is good. Any curves, just freehand it.
That looks like a fucking...
Yeah, Geo's looks fucking crazy. I love it.
Yeah, that's insane, man.
All right, cool.
All right, so for like Taz's idea that I'm stealing now,
for our idea, right?
To smash, I reckon I'll do 4 holes through mine.
Oh, damn.
God damn.
So something like that, there, and there. But obviously they're not going to be that big because I'm using finished tube. So what I am going to do is just grab my pin vise, which you should have from the previous episode, if you followed along. So this is another good use for it. And I'm just going to drill these holes.
So what size tubing are you going to be using?
It is sorry, I've got to measure it because I have a very random selection of tubes. So this is 4 mil outer diameter.
Are you going to be just drilling it out and then sanding it to make the hole the right size? Or
correct. So I'm just drilling out through the piece. Through the 2 pieces, so I've got like a center point for the tube to stick through. And then once I have glued it together, I can grab my file and a knife and just file it out till I hit that inner diameter I want.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go with the whole circle. I don't know if I'm going to do the whole through.
Oh, you don't have to.
I'm going to be not like you guys.
That is why we're trying different things.
So I've got my piece pretty much duplicated. A little more scratching.
I'm just a little behind you, boys. I'll get
all
there.
right, take your time, mate. There is no point in rushing.
How's that cutting, Geo? He's cutting with a knife. You're using the 0.5 sheet.
Yeah. Yes.
We're cutting pretty good.
0.5.
Yeah, 0.5. Is it cutting?
Yeah. I think so.
Cutting nice.
Yeah. I just gotta go like a couple times.
Score it.
So far, so good.
All right. That worked quite well. That's like, yeah, I'm in love with this just touch of fucking extra thin cement to glue the bits together. That's so helpful.
Yeah, I'm full of useful shit, man.
Yeah, you're full of shit at least.
So I'm happy with my 2 pieces. So I'm going to start splitting the two pieces in half. So I just take my knife and just be careful because you can cut yourself here. It's a lot easier when you have a square piece because you can put the square piece like on your mat and use your push towards your mat. But these are I've kind of made mine a little more delicate, so I want to.
That worked quite well. So I've got my 2 bits as well now with the holes.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, so all of the inside bit, we're gonna make. Get some, we feedback. All this, where it's ugly, that'll be on the inside, so we won't even see that shit. Yeah, Geo's looks crazy. Love it. Not crazy good. It's crazy good, not crazy bad.
It's not perfect.
Well, see, that's the thing. You're gonna be able to make 2 perfect copies once you make one. See, like once you get one and you refine it the way you want it.
Yeah, the second one was a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like my angle's bad.
On the head. So then you can refine that too with sandpaper or filing or.
No, but like it's too big. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you can make it again.
Yeah,
That's why it kind of helps to get that. It was helpful for me to get that angle with paper first.
I missed that part of the stream.
Oh, it's all good. So yeah, well, it's like 0.5 mil. I mean, sheet styrene isn't shit anyway. So that's what Jimmy went straight to plastic. He didn't even use paper. I
ended up using paper in the end.
Oh, what a wanker!
Because I wanted to be like you.
No,
I still really like this design, so I'm gonna try to at least get this out, and then I'll work the.
So what you can do, Gio, what you can do is if you just draw it all except for that one angle, and then just make it a little smaller, and then you can like refine that one angle. You know what I mean?
All right, so just on what I want to do with mine now. So I've decided I pretty much want to make the mohawk as wide as the.
Hey.
Welcome.
What were you saying, James?
So I want to make my mohawk as wide as these 2 lines that are already on the kit.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So I want to use that as my guideline. So if I quickly just measure that, we're looking at 8 mil, right?
Yeah.
So being as lazy as I am, what's the 0.5? So I want a 7 mil internal diameter, yes? Yes,
well,
we can hear you.
Do you want it to meet? See, here's the thing. Do you want it to meet this? I don't. I want mine. I want to retain this seam line, I think.
Yeah, so
even if I run stripping around this, so if I have it like this, and I want, so ideally I kind of want it maybe here. So I don't want mine as thick. I think I'm going to go with like the stripping. I'm going to use like 3.2. When I'm done, it's going to be about 4. It's going to be about 4 mil wide.
Yes,
total.
Yes. Cool. No, that's fine. Yeah. So what I've done is, because I've got this tubing. Now this is where owning something like the chopper is extremely useful.
Are you going to cut tubing with your chopper? Me and Gio were just talking about this. Okay.
Wait.
How wide is that tubing? You said 4 mil.
This is only 4 mil.
Hey Gio, he just chopped it like it was butter.
So, as you can see, I'm just cutting like my little. This is for the. What do you call it? The holes.
Your cutout. Yep.
So I just need to cut 4 lengths of tube the same. This is why the chopper's really handy. You can do this obviously with a knife, and then sanding them down. But it is a lot easier to do it that way. Thanks, Tom, man. You rock as well. So that's where and see, I'll leave this set up so when I come to cut my flat strips from sheet, it's also set up that I can just cut exactly the same distance.
I'm just looking for paper, boys.
You're looking for what? No, you're good.
Paper.
Nope. No one is in any hurry. We're moving right along pretty quickly. So
does this look stupid though? Look, this is what it would look like.
Well, Geo, that's
massive.
So here's the thing, and you got to think about this. You've got like reverse angles, so where like it goes in on itself,
it's
going to be hard to get a box. You know what I mean? Because you're going to want to put styrene all the way down in there. Does that make sense? Because we're not making like you're not going to. You might be better to duplicate that part and just make it solid.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to make a box that's hollow, so like where that angle comes back in on itself towards the front. Yeah, that would be hard to get styrene. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that would be hard to fill, but doable.
No, I mean totally doable. Yeah, it is. It's just gonna be weird. So what I'm trying to say is like in that recess you're gonna have styrene that's gonna be like this, because I want to basically make this box hollow. And I want to take this strip and wrap the box with it. So if you have
about if you did it? So the other way I used to do this sort of thing is I would just cut straight strips and glue it along my edges before I put the last half on. So I would cut the outline in strip, glue it to this piece.
Yep.
Then glue, which is what I'm actually going to do for this, is I'm just going to cut strips.
Yep.
Like
exactly.
That. Glue it.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Glue it to the inside and then put the last half on. Whereas a lot of the other times I would glue this and this to the head and then just wrap a strip around the top.
No, so basically we're going to be gluing it. We're going to be doing exactly that, James.
Okay.
Exactly what we're going to do. We're going to be using, I'm going to be using some L channel too to go and make this a lot stronger. And then what we're going to be doing, mine's rounded. I'm going to be gluing the rounded bit last and then to the, like as this. Then we'll be gluing to the head absolutely last. So like as a construction bit, like this, I wanted to show how we can make rounded boxes. So I wanted to make sure I had like a rounded edge in mind.
Correct.
So I will be basically, I'm going to be starting with this edge and the two, I'm going to build all my flat edges just the way exactly you said.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm going to glue it all together and then I'm going to wrap I'm going to wrap the rounded edge.
Awesome.
And then we're going to glue it to the head.
Sweet. I like it.
So that's what we're going to do. So I've got my strip is 3.2 mil. So if you don't have strip, what you can do is take your 5 mil sheet and just measure out. However, you can literally just make your own strip by measuring this out and cutting it to 3 mil, whatever. But the problem with that is that this, you'll have a perfect edge where you started if you start with an edge. But when you cut it, it's not going to be perfect. So what I always do, if I do it like this, and I have I would go to my perfect edge of my sheet, my brand new sheet, and when I cut it, before I even do anything, I'll take that one edge and I'll file it down. I'll put some sandpaper on it just to make this edge, the cut edge, more smoother. Hey, Zeus is in the building. Man. What up, hey, Zeus?
Just unmute. You are currently muted. Just unmute yourself.
Maybe. Oh.
No, yes.
Maybe, maybe not.
How about now?
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, we can hear you. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Good to have you
here.
So...
For some reason, it doesn't want to work on my computer.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Gives me, I cannot join, but on the phone works.
All good, man. So everyone, our special guest for this week, introduce yourself. Take it away, man.
Oh, my name is Jesus. Today I'm wearing clothes. Thank you for the invite.
Awesome, man. Where can people find you?
Jesus_models_IG.
I will also put a link for that in the description box below after the stream is done.
Okay.
We have Jesus as a guest.
Jesus is the guest.
That beats any other fucking talk show.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah, if you have any questions, man, or chime in at any time, you are more than welcome.
You're gonna do a mohawk on the Zaku? That's what you're doing?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay, so I'm gonna cheat.
Okay.
Because I was building this other model.
Here we go.
I had an extra. Let me see if you can see it.
Oh yeah, extra fin. Okay.
An extra fin. So that's gonna be my mohawk.
Awesome. So we'll just carve that to suit.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sounds good to me, man. That's like another good way of doing the same thing. Just kit bashing, agreeable. Makes it a lot easier.
Oh yeah. So
yeah, especially because I could not find those clips for the sandwich bread.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't buy bread in my house, so when I do buy bread, it doesn't come with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's strange, man. Someone else is having trouble. Tom was having trouble finding them in Connecticut. He said like they're like anti-plastic. So, when I first started modeling years ago, I saw that people were using these as styrene, and they really, I mean, it literally, as you can see, it's the same shit.
Yeah, it is. It's basically plastic.
So, I mean, most of them range in 1 mil to like 0.75 mil, but I've recently seen some people where they take these and they stack them because they all have a weird design to them, right? But you can like take them and you can stack them and you can get like weird heat sinks and vents, whatever. The only reason I said to have these, I'm going to actually build the bracket for the shoulder cannon we're going to make. I'm going to build the whole bracket out of bread clips.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
So just to show people that you can do, I mean, it's free styrene.
Yes, exactly, Bailey. So Bailey brings up another good point. You can buy signs from like hardware stores as well, and they make that out of styrene a lot. So,
I was looking at
fine.
But I was looking at, they're really, by the time, like I was looking at, they're not, if you just go into the evergreen sheet styrene, it's not that much cheaper.
It depends on, I find, like the store as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you can pick up some pretty cheap. Like, I think I bought a big sheet of styrene, which is about 600 mil by, so like I bought a sheet this big from a shop near me, and this was like $8.
Oh, damn.
So.
Oh, and how thick is that?
0.5. So I bought two. I bought two sheets of these, and this is going to be my GBWC diorama buildings.
Oh,
That's why I need it that big.
Oh yeah, if you need sheets that a solid run of the sheet. Yeah,
Sorry guys, I'm falling behind as well.
Nah, take your time, guys.
Don't worry about it. I'm doing something else.
Yeah.
I'll watch a video later.
Doing something completely different.
Did you say there was a
fucked it all up?
Did you say there was a
Hey Taz, we're in the same boat, brother.
So while you guys are catching up, I'll tell you guys. So what I like to do when I scratch build is I have a machinist block. This is a 1 by 2 by 3 block. People call it 1, 2, 3 block.
Okay.
This is you can get them on anywhere, Amazon or eBay. You can usually get 2 in a 2-pack. They're like $10 underneath, under $10. I like you can get them solid versions, or you can get them with holes in them. And basically, it's for when machinists are calibrating their CNC machine, drill press, whatever. This.
Yeah, for sure.
These are within a certain micrometer of an inch. So this edge is an inch. This is 2 inches, 3 inches, blah blah blah. But they're steel, so magnets stick to them.
Hey, did you say there was like a quick fire way to duplicate things with glue? Just or just sticking it together like that with glue, and then just
So let me see what you're working with, Taz.
James,
let me see what Taz. Yeah, okay, cool.
So,
well, first
I'm gonna do mine just like that. Oops. So
no circles.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna have.
Are you gonna cut this too?
I want to duplicate the part first, but I wasn't paying attention as usual.
Oh yeah, you're fine. So get your Tamiya thin out.
Sorry, man.
You got your Tamiya thin cement out?
You sure diddly doodly.
Show diddly doodly. So don't go crazy. Only put so like on my piece, Taz, if you can see, I put a drop on each spike. I only put 4 drops of glue on mine.
Okay, I get you.
So you might only need 4 or 5 drops. You don't want to do crazy, but on the edges, I would kind of focus towards if you have any fine detail on those edges, because those will start separating when you start filing and sanding them. But once just sandwich them together until they they cure a bit, and then you can just cut out the second one. And once you've cut it out, you can use. Do you have a ceramic scraper, Taz?
I do. I have a ceramic blade. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've got.
Well, I tell you, I usually use like sandpaper and a file, but Jimmy said use the ceramic scraper, and I did, and it worked out wonderfully.
Yes, so like sandpaper, file, the ceramic scraper, take your pick, really.
So when I'm making mine, I want to put my styrene on the edge. Like the parts that we cut, I want them to be wrapped in the sheet, if that makes sense. Like I want my sheet on the outer edge, like this.
Oh, okay, yep, I get you. So you're adding to the overall size.
You can do it either way, but I'm going to be so the end of my thing. It's only going to be 3 millimeters wide.
Yeah.
Why won't mine fucking stop? What the fuck is wrong with this?
But you could go wider. You can do whatever you want. You know, if you wanted to go over these.
I've got the quick dry cement.
Don't use the quick dry.
Huh?
You don't use the quick dry because it dries way too quick. Just
for this application, it would be fine.
No, it dries too quick to glue the bits together.
By the time I've lined everything up and squash it, it's dry.
Yeah, so just put 4 drops on like each of the corners.
If you do the quick, it should be bad for that piecing. Everything's already glued together. Don't put any more glue on it.
It's not glued together.
It's not glued together at all.
Oh, it dried before you could even glue it.
Yeah. Before it already dried up.
Yeah, the quick dry pretty much
quick, man.
Instantly dries.
You don't fuck around with that shit.
I was literally gonna buy some, so good thing I didn't.
Oh, it's good for like seams. It's great for like a lot of things. Like I'll be using it once I glue all this shit together. It's the best for gluing pla plate to like doing all the sleeve sort of details and shit I work on.
Oh, really? So you like it?
It's awesome.
Have you used Plastic Magic though?
What's that?
Nope.
Have you used Plastic Magic?
No, it's just because the quick dry, like you can cut and scribe into it like straight away after you glue that to flat down to pieces.
It doesn't get like mushy.
Yeah, it works a lot better for that sort of thing. All right, so what I am doing currently, if we look at this, so I've cut all equal pieces. So these pieces have been trimmed with the chopper, and then I've also got I have also got the tube I cut with the chopper. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to work my way around and just border out this mohawk. So I'm just going to cut all these flat bits to length and just literally glue them as we work my way around, starting from the front because that's the most important. Just Bailey says plastic. Does Plastic Magic also dry really quick?
I don't think it dries as fast as that, but it dries pretty quick. But it's been I really like it a lot. So it's been kind of my exclusive glue right now, unless I'm doing like doing the drop in the mold, like scribe lines like you've taught me, Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, that's why I know old mate Child Mech is all about the Plastic Magic.
Good shit, man. It will not glue resin though. I got that out conversion kit and it has a broken piece and it will not. I don't know what glue will glue resin. I guess just CA glue.
CA glue.
Oh yeah, I would assume something like that. Yeah, so I highly recommend, like, if you can, a chopper is a worthwhile investment. I mean, yes, they're not cheap, but for cutting and scratch building, they're a very invaluable tool.
So the cheap chopper is a T-square and a chisel blade. It doesn't keep your angle like a chopper does, but you can I can go like this. I can line it up, and then I can literally chop. I can rest it on the blade here.
Ah, yeah.
Bam.
Oh, that's cool.
And what's cool about these wave T-squares is they're like recessed right here. There's like a notch cut out.
Yeah.
So I mean, literally these chisel blades fit right in there. So Jimmy's going the expensive way. I'm doing the cheap route.
If I had a T-square.
Say what?
I don't have a T-square.
You don't have one?
No, I don't have one.
Nope.
Well, that's the first thing you should be buying in Japan. And buy me. I want the bigger one. Will you give me the bigger one?
Maybe.
That's what she said.
Oh.
And there it is.
There it is.
See, Bailey says yes. CA is the only option for resin.
Okay. Kind of sucks because it's the shield bracket that holds the shield to the arm. So I might have to put a pin or something in it. I don't know.
All right. So this is where I love the quick dry cement. So I'm just going to hold the two pieces together like this, and literally just quick touch, and that'll bind extremely well and give me enough time that there it's like dry and already in place now. So much easier. And then once I've done that, I can then pretty much just run across the edge of it with more, and it will suck all the glue because it's that thin, sucks in. And there is the first piece glued on.
I'm just going to do some obnoxious thing like this. Call it a day.
Geo. Oh, yeah,
that's
that
nice.
looks cool.
Yeah,
It's a little
Yeah, that's cool, man.
doable.
I was thinking that if you want a mohawk, you could probably take one from an old Tolkien's kit.
Oh, we could,
Yeah.
yes, 100%.
But we're scratch building, Jesus.
I know.
Yeah, like that's the
Just
thing.
want
Like you can pretty much take a world of things from all over the place and just convert them to these uses.
Oh, 100%.
But in the essence of teaching people how to scratch build.
Where my magnets go? Oh.
So another tool is I'm just going to file, because I've got like a 45-degree angle. I just need to put a bevel on the edge of one of my pieces. So just using a file, we'll just try to get that bevel as best as possible. It makes it a lot easier.
I'm going to bevel that shit.
So
what I do with my 1-2 block is I use it as a vise.
Oh, that's a super cool idea.
To hold all my pieces together, and so I'm holding all these edges down, pretty flat.
I'm sorry, everyone's looking at my hand.
And then I'll just come in with glue. So I'm going to glue all of these down, and they're going to hold them almost perfectly at perfect right angles.
That is crazy.
So I could just run here. And then what I also like to do is I'll come in with a piece of little, this might be too big. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to because I'm going to make this too thin, but I'll come in with some L channel, which is just styrene, which you can buy literally I say literally a lot.
Literally.
Yeah, you can buy online. How we store has it. Trade stores usually.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Trade stores usually have more of the styrene stuff.
Yeah.
Like the evergreen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about evergreen. Yeah, I want the whole display rack in my house.
Oh, mate, you and me both.
I want the odds and ends. That's what I want.
Yeah,
the odds and ends are cool.
I just bought that pack, and you know what? For getting just so many random little bits, it's the best for this sort of work.
You really just don't know what you're getting. I got a lot of black styrene in mine. Did you?
Yeah, I got a bunch of black. I got some clear red. I got some clear blue. I can make some 3D glasses.
Oh, you got some clear? I didn't get any clear in mine.
Yeah, I got clear colors.
Yeah, I got clear colors too, and just one sheet of the black one.
Well, I bought mine a long time ago. So maybe I don't know. I got gypped. Well, what's cool about this too is when you're using this metal block, the glue does not glue to it.
Yeah,
it doesn't stick to it. So it would stick to your mat, especially freaking this plastic magic. It will literally glue any glue to any plastic together, other than resin, I guess, which isn't plastic, but
for sure. So the other thing I tend to do as well, so I'm running around the border with the styrene sheet like this, such, is I'll actually run pieces past, and it just gives a little bit more strength as well. So by gluing that and then butting the next piece into it, it's going to add a lot more strength to the overall of the kit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to the overall of the
strength. The
strength. It just means it's a little bit more sturdy.
Yep.
I use black styrene when I'm building jigs for contrast, Bailey says.
Jigs. Hey, that's not a bad idea. That's a really good idea, actually. Yeah, Bailey, that's a great idea. I'm just going to marking with a pencil on this sheet where I need to mark where I need to cut it, and I'm taking this T square and chopping it.
How is everyone going, Taz? Taz? Is Taz even there?
What? Fucking.
You going all right, man?
Yeah, man.
Don't get frustrated.
I think it's pretty right. So, as far as making a box, you guys were saying channels, or I'm just gonna hang on. Let me grab some. I don't want a thick one. That's what she said.
Always.
No chodes for Taz.
Let me see now. Is that all I have?
Alright, so I'm just, as I said, like slowly gluing bits on, working my way around till I finish getting around the entire outline of this. So we'll just keep cutting and gluing pieces on. How you doing, Geo? All right?
I think right now, but I'll figure it out.
What, sorry?
What was that?
I'm writing the struggle bus.
Oh, that's cool.
What
Well,
what
how can we help you?
Stand by. Let me see what I get, and then I'll let you know.
Copy.
We're standing by.
Standing by.
Standing by.
Stand by me. My darling, darling, stand by me.
There is no singing allowed on this stream.
Stand.
Alright.
Stand by me.
How is everyone in the chat doing? Do you have any further questions? Shut the fuck up, Geo.
Stand by me.
That wasn't me.
Stand by me.
You know what's hilarious? I have the power to mute people. Oh, Taz and Geo, I believe you muted.
Nice. Oh, damn. Oh, God. James has some power now.
Oh, I just realized I can do that. I can also eject everyone. The funny thing is, they have to unmute themselves because I can't unmute them.
Oh, you can't unmute them? All right, guys, you have to unmute yourselves. That's pretty hilarious. You can mute them, but you can't unmute them?
It's all right. You have been
Gio's unmuted. Taz is still muted.
Can the record just show that I got muted when Shane was singing? Just throwing it out there.
I wasn't. No. That wasn't me. That was Rob.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh,
I wasn't
so good. We're back. Anyway, it's just fun.
We're doing chorus, so.
Oh God.
All right. My mom never let me have a mohawk, so here's mine. Zaku mohawk.
Oh, see, that looks awesome, man.
Yeah, pro.
Yeah, that was great.
It's gigantic. All right, let me do this again.
Well, look at Rob's. Rob's is huge too.
Man,
let me see Rob. I knew that.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Yes.
Constant.
It's not gonna end. You know that. Yeah, I do have a big flailing fucking mohawk.
I'm glad the mohawk was the last word you used in that sentence. G'day, Gary. How the fuck are you?
I am
Gary. What up?
Fucking. I don't have.
Gary's the man.
Fucking,
Sing mine's a little bit bigger.
Oh, nice. That's come up well, man.
So they don't some party and to fix that theme and glue.
Pro.
That's how you do it. Kit bash. Kit bash with a wing from a different model kit.
Yeah. Was wondering
what kit did that come from, Jesus?
Oh, it's Hasegawa eggline. Jet.
Oh, the little airplane? Yeah.
Yeah, the little airplane that I've been painting, and repainting and repainting again.
And repainting. Yeah.
So I wonder why it came with an extra one, and I looked at the other ones, the other kits, and none of them come with an extra one.
Maybe you just got lucky.
Yeah.
Why would it come with an extra one?
So
I have no idea.
The other thing
he ordered the P Hasegawa one.
The other thing I also like to do is I'll just like when I glue the bit on, I just extend it longer and just using some handy nips, you can then cut it fairly straight to continue around if you can't be bothered pre-cutting it to size is another nice little tip.
Once you get the God hand nippers, it's going to be on.
Ooh, yeah. So, how are you going, Shane?
Going good. I've got.
Once you get the Jesus brand, the Jesus brand cutters.
Yeah, they're on their way too, Jesus. They should be there in a few days, actually. It's going to be good. So this is how good I'm going. That's how I'm going right now. I've got. I really have just one more straight angle. Well, I've got two more straight bits, and then I'm going to do the curve.
All right, so I have officially fucked it. No, that bit's put on badly. I just accidentally cut a piece on an angle, so I will just pull it off and start again. So just apply glue, keep going, all the exciting things.
When in doubt, apply more glue.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what the next step is after this, but I'm sure I'll pay attention.
So you got to get this. You got to get the shape cut out. You got to get one good shape done. Like, so you want one. You want one to be exactly the way you want it to be.
Yeah. So I did that, and then I have to do it again.
Well, did you? Is it all like? I mean, is it perfect? I mean, is it like? Do you want to? Do you have all the angles right and everything? Because basically, you take that one and you're just going to glue it back. You're going to glue it onto that piece of styrene to make two.
Yeah, and then I can sand them when they're still glued together and then separate them, right?
Yes, correct.
Right. Yes.
All right.
Just don't put, don't put a lot of glue on them.
Nah, just the 3 dots.
Just the 3 dots. Yes.
Oh,
you were paying attention?
A little bit in my subconscious.
Nice. Well,
Rob, how you going? Rob, how are you going?
I am just. I thought I had thicker strips of styrene, but it turned out I didn't. So I'm just cutting the middle part because mine's just basically, mine's more on a curve. Mine's got a curve. So really, I just want to
build it up.
Do this. What do you guys? Do the bottom first, and then work your way around.
So
mine's all curved, man.
Show me yours. So you want to go with your straightest bits first?
I don't have a straight bit. This bit's the
shit! Did you already separate them?
Yeah.
Glue them back together.
Okay.
No, did you want to do the cut throughs?
The cut? What do you mean?
Are you doing a hole through it?
Did you want to hole through it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're together, it would be easier to drill your hole perfectly to have it to go through both of them the same.
Drill bits. Because I want a piercing to go through it, so I want a big one.
You got to get a big one.
That's what she's... Yeah. I don't have a... Oh, I do. Hang on a sec.
All right, so as I'm doing just here, I'm just putting the last little tubes and lining them up with the holes I've done, and then just coming in with the extra thin and done. So here we can see, so that is boxed out now. So I've like, there's my initial shape. I have then glued and cut strips to suit the border of it. And then I've drilled holes through the face, glued these tubes with the holes centered.
Mm-hmm.
So now when I come along and put my second half on, that should line up perfectly. and then I can glue those two together, and I have a boxed out mohawk.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's freaking sick, dude.
Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I love it.
Yay.
So I'm just going to hold the two pieces together as close as I possibly can. And then I'm just going to hit it with a dab of glue in one corner point and let that sort of just set so I can then run around, get it fairly close before I hit the whole thing. Like so. A couple more dabs of glue just around to let that sort of catch. And then I shall do the same and just sort of continue the glue along the entire length of the piece, yeah?
Glue that bitch. So, Jesus, did you get some tubing?
Yes, I did get the tubing. I got some plate and everything. I just got them back there.
Sweet. Geo, did you find some tubing?
Yeah, you see this colored pencil that I'm using?
Perfect. Yeah, we'll hack that bitch up.
What's that?
Yep.
I told him to get a Bic pen or something, and if he can't find it, we'll fucking make that at the cannon.
Yeah, you can buy those cheap what do you call it, ballpoint pens.
Yep.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
So I'm gonna use this this colored pencil.
We're giving the people
That's
options.
what I was able to find.
What's cool is that there's probably another tube inside that pencil, right? Like there's probably like another in the mechanics of that pencil, another tube that we'll use.
Find out.
Yeah, we're gonna hack it up.
All right, so I'm just hitting now like the inside of each of the tubes with glue just to make sure this is all fused together. So the great thing about plastic cement is it just melts the styrene. So this essentially, once it's all dry, is one solid piece.
I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a beer.
Yeah, no worries. I've already got one too. It's going well. Yeah, the big Biros are styrene. And you can generally pick up a 10-pack of them for next to nothing. All right, so now here's the moment of truth, hoping this actually fits on correctly.
Oh, yeah, let's see.
Oh, no. Close enough.
Oh.
So what I shall do is let's flick the camera to me so I don't need to keep talking to keep it on me. All right, so this now will look like that. So I got a little bit under here to fill in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see there's a little bit of a gap there because of the round and I'm a dead square edge. But overall, that's kind of fun.
Kind of fun. Looks fucking awesome. Looks great for my house.
I like it. So I can pretty much just go ahead and glue this straight on now. So I'm just going to... The other thing I like to point out with this is I want to line it up exactly where I want while the head's together before I put some dobs of glue. So I just want to get it in position to where I'm happy with it, which is exactly there. So then I'm just going to quickly touch it up with some glue just to hold it in place. Then I'll pull it back apart so I can then adjust and work a lot nicer with it without the rest of the head getting in the way. So you can see like here there's a few gaps still around the outside and it's about worse on the other side, I think. Yeah, so there's a little bit more of a gap there, but once I put some strip along it, you will never see that. How is everyone else going?
Yeah, good.
Good. Something's not lining up right on mine here.
I'm just about ready to start the boxing technique.
Ooh, yeah. How are we doing in the chat? Gary, 100% fire. Thank you. Oh my god, I use mechanical pencil for tubes. Works good. Yeah, definitely.
We're doing it backwards.
You go get some of this promotional pens.
What's that,
Screw
man?
them.
No,
Yeah, promotional pens. You're gonna screw them, and then you have your pot there too.
Yeah, definitely.
Tubing.
Tubito. I got it.
All right.
It's not perfect, but some putty.
Yeah, that's good. Right?
It looks fucking cool, Gio.
You think so? There's a little gap though.
Don't worry too much about the gap. So if you look at like
the gap. I mean, look. If you guys look right now, mine looks gross as shit. But we're gonna clean all that up. Yeah.
Like I've got same with mine. If you see, I've got like gaps along here. It's not perfect, but I'm actually going to glue some. And there's a big gap at the front underneath here. There's a big hollow gap as well because I didn't actually fill that piece in like I should have. So I'm going to work around and actually fill all this in with some more plate or some strip anyway. And this is where I'm going to have to cut because I don't actually have any strip already like Shane does. I'm going to have to just cut some out of plate and go from there. So,
which works too. Oh, what the hell's going on here? But something's not right.
I'm just waiting to cut off, to be honest.
Not the gap. First time scratching, it's going slow, but will be cool. Yeah, definitely, Tom, man. It's just practice and messing around with it, have fun. Like, hence the reason we're doing like stilly designed mohawks because it's different. It's kind of fun.
We're doing like going to be outside the box.
And I mean, like doing it this way is teaching you just the downright basics of something. And you can pretty much take this and turn it into a world of different things. So now that I've got it all glued together, I'm just going to file it to get it within reason.
Yep.
Is that filing annoying?
No, not bad.
I can
5 millimeter strip. Is that okay?
What's that, mate?
I have 0.5 mil strip. Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's gonna be wide. It's gonna be a little wide.
All right, so.
See, I'm thinking I should have put my strip on the inside now. See, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would help too because I could put strip in the inside. I usually do that too because like Jimmy did when you can put ribs in it basically to make it.
Yeah, I find it just holds more strength. It works easier in the long run.
I'm just tearing mine apart right now. Bam.
Wow, it's been like an hour and a half already. The stream's going to go forever.
Yep. So what we can do is we can move on. I mean, even.
Do you want to move on to the next part? Like,
yeah.
Pretty much from this. Like, I'll quickly. How close are you to being done, Shane?
With my mohawk.
Yeah.
Oh well, I tore it apart. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So
not very close. Right, what I was going to show, which I can show you right now. I mean, I can show you guys this while we're here. The main reason I wanted to use a curve on mine is, once you get a box and there's a curve, you basically can use the styrene strip. It's going to be hard since I don't have a box anymore, but you can run it, as circular as you want, as long as you're bowing it around an object. So, like, if you can,
correct.
So, what I like to do is I'll put a few dots. The quick cement might be great for this. I use a little bit of cement. I put a couple drops like on this edge, and I'll put it and I'll hold it. I'll hold it for a few minutes, and then I'll put a dab of glue and then hold. So I'm not coating the whole piece in glue because I've noticed is that if I've done that and I try to hold it, it slides a lot, and it just doesn't. You get once you stick a piece to itself a bunch of times with rubber, with plastic glue. It starts removing material from each side. When then it starts putting that material in, like a gap almost. It's like adds it to where you don't want it to be.
Yeah.
So if I just like put a dab of glue, hold it, dab, hold it, dab, hold it all the way down to once you get it, you can. That's how you get rounded details that are boxes.
Correct. So I'm just going to quickly flick the camera back to me for this last little bit I want to do, and then we will, I guess, move on to the cannon. Do you want to get working on that?
Yeah, let's move on to that.
So the last thing I'm just going to do is I just cut some strip off the edge of my sheet of 5mm. All I want to do is fill in to what I'll show you to hide these gaps. Is I'm going to just run this down the side of the helmet, like along like that, so it looks like a flange of this mohawk.
Yep.
So it's just creating a little step. So to do that, I'm just lining it up exactly at the start where I want it. And then I'm just going to grab the quick cement again and just sort of apply it just so it grabs right at the very start. Like that. And that's the good part about the quick cement stuff is you can just touch and it's already adhered and binded exactly as I need it to.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I need some, I guess, just for that reason.
Yeah, it's really good for this sort of thing. So I'm just going to glue that in place like so. So if you can see that, it's there. Once that, give it a little second to dry. And then I'm just going to bend it and run it down like this. And I'm actually going to see this gap here. I'll probably end up putting that to fill it in. But we'll see how it goes anyway.
Yeah, I think if you may have used it, if you would have used a smaller strip, maybe you wouldn't have had a gap. Maybe not. If it was more of a square instead of a rectangle. Maybe.
True.
Just a thought.
So essentially, I've just glued that in place, let it dry, hold it in place as best I can. I'm just worrying about the inside connection first. So I'm just trying to get this glued as best as I possibly can to the edge of the mohawk because that's where I want my join looking the nicest. And then run down there. I'm just going to grab my nips.
Grab the
nips and twist them. Tweaking nips.
Tweak them nips.
So you can see here I've now got that built out so it sort of looks like this is a thing. I could run rivets as well along. I'm very tempted to glue little plastic rivets along the edge of it to make it look bolted on. That's a fun idea.
I like that idea.
I will post more photos of this once it's finished so you can see, and I'll put descriptions of how I've done it all. But yeah, as you can see, I'm going to probably run across the border of this as well. And if I'm probably use some of that L-shaped stuff, like styrene that Shane has. I've got some here as well, but I'm going to use the L shape to just make a border. So it looks it's sort of so it's
that would be I like
so
that.
So it's sort of L steel angle that's been welded on, so make it look real mechanical and sort of
cool.
slapdash someone's a little kid or some sort of backyard mechanic slapped it together.
Hell yeah.
Love that. And that will tie into our diorama we're building for this very well as well.
Perfect.
So yeah, so that is pretty much all I had to say. So I'm just going to add a little more details and I'll take photos of it without it, once it's all styrene so you can see exactly what it looks like. And everyone else who's doing it, I 100% recommend post your photos using our hashtag as well because I'm super keen to see everyone else's. If you're gonna do a mohawk, I would love to see what you're doing.
Yeah, I love seeing everyone's what they're working on and stuff. It's been really cool.
I'm using the Tamiya thin. So we have these two types of Tamiya thin. There is the regular extra thin, and then there's the quick setting. This one's really good for scratch building shit. Just because it dries really quick, you can sand it pretty much instantly and just work with it very quickly, whereas this takes a long time to cure and under the plow plate it gets real gummy. So it makes it a little bit longer to work with. This is a lot quicker. You can build super quick with this stuff.
It smells funnier too.
Yeah, and it smells tastier.
It smells like.
All right. Geo has muted himself. I didn't mute him that time. Loves the tea. No worries, Gary.
I'm back. I was just making noise. I didn't want to.
All good. So, yep. All right, Taz, that is going well. Do you have any other questions before we move on?
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Anyone.
Anyone. Like, if you guys want to know anything.
Before we go, so, because I've got curves.
Yep.
I think it's more practical.
Yeah, we like them.
Do you guys go from like for me, it's more practical to actually glue it.
Yeah, for what you're doing there, exactly like that. So hold it like that. Now, when you do it, just grab your extra thin and just put a little dab of the extra thin right on the bottom point. Just so it glues that together, and then you should be able to push it up like as it is now, and you won't need to hold it as much. So you can actually glue it a lot easier. So just work your way through, just like glue one point to get it to hold in position, and then just work from there. But yeah, go up for a curve. It's a lot easier to do a curve over the top.
So, but
exactly like that.
I would cut it there and then start again. I guess.
Yeah, correct. And do it at the top, then do the other side, and that's how you build up your curves.
Nice, and I've got my tube.
So yeah, always do just glue it to one side first. If you saw how I did it, glue it to the one side, and then get all the bits along one edge glued to one side. Then glue all that, and then glue your tubes in as well, and then glue the other half on last.
Yeah, nice.
And that is the secret to a basic box, sort of
rounded and squared.
Those techniques, you can apply them to pretty much anything. Just keep building.
Cool.
It's fun.
All right, I'll work on this during the week.
For sure. So this is just what it looks like now together. It's a little bit over the top and huge and funny, but I like it.
It's so cool, man. It's awesome. What's cool is that I had something in my brain, right? And so I'm making I fucking love it, Jimmy.
You can have fun. It's kind of cool. It's stupid. It's over the top, but that's the whole point of this thing. Let's make it funny. It's not serious. It's pretty much the whole point is just learning techniques and teaching you guys crazy, different, weird things.
All right.
So back to old mate Shane. What do you got for us, mate?
So, Jimmy, that's kind of the question. I mean, I'm spitballing off you here too. What side do we want this shoulder cannon? So we're going to be making a shoulder cannon for Mr. Zaku here.
I was thinking shield side.
Shield side, okay.
Because you got a flat sort of section, whereas the spike, I don't know, maybe, or maybe you would put it over the spike side.
It's profile. This is the cannon we're gonna make, guys. Is gonna be it can hinge up. We're doing very basic, so we're gonna make kind of another box, and then it's gonna come up higher, and then it's gonna hold the barrel in it. So we're gonna put a hinge on it that's gonna hinge up.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm thinking Zaku cannon-esque. So not crazy articulated, but I want to build something off the backpack. But as I'm looking at this now, we can see where this lines up.
I thought off the back of the square part of the arm when I was thinking of it originally. So I was thinking of mounting it just to this piece here, because you got a flat section to work with.
You do, totally.
So I don't know. Maybe what do you reckon?
We could do that too.
Whatever's easiest, I think.
That's going to be way easier, because right now the problem I'm thinking about trying to get over is how to bridge this gap here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We'd have to build a box and then another box going up. So we'd have to build an L bracket.
Yeah.
If we go from the arm, we could just build almost like a half a stop sign kind of thing.
Yep.
Mount it like right to there. Unless we want it to be more straight. Do we want it to? I'm thinking the profile. I just kind of want it to be like like that.
I want to give him a big ass cannon, a long ass one about this big.
Awesome.
That's cool.
It's like a fucking flagpole.
Yeah, we can do that too.
No, nothing like that.
The back of the arm would good. We could even do it to the shield. I'm just gonna take and get the arm up by itself. We want it to come over the shield. So I was just gonna use bread ties to make kind of, the box kind of, we come over that. You could do that.
Drink every time Shane says literally.
Done
Yay!
deal.
How many times has it been?
So many. So many.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We haven't heard very many Taz giggles this episode.
Yeah, let me get.
I heard a couple.
I got some stout.
When Taz is concentrating,
He doesn't laugh.
he doesn't laugh as much. All right. So what's your idea with this? Are we going to mount it off the back of the arm?
I think we're going to go off the mount of the back of the arm just for sake of ease.
All right.
We're going to need to come up about double. I'm just trying to. So.
Do you want to sketch out? Give a sketch out of what you're roughly got in your mind to people. I reckon that might help. Like,
so I want to come off.
It'll help me so I can draw too.
Here's the arm. Right. So I need to come up like something like this. So I'm thinking something like this. I don't know if it'll actually happen with the shield, though. Yeah, that should work. And so we just need a bracket of some sort to attach to the back of the arm here, and have it come up enough to where the barrel of this cannon can sit. Someone like this, but with that shield there, it kind of hinders it a bit. But I'd like to come off the backpack. It's just kind of I don't think it's really feasible. So we just need like half a stop sign.
half a stop sign?
Yeah. So like we need.
I get you. Yep.
You know what I mean? We need.
So we're making a half stop sign box.
Yeah. So we're making something like this. But I want to be able to do it on a bread. I want to do it on a bread clip.
Literally on a bread clip?
Literally on a bread clip. Did I say literally again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At least twice. Yeah.
Cheers.
Good.
Cheers.
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 I reckon we need drinking rules for every person here.
Yeah, I think we do.
We almost do. I'm not spilling anything today.
Yeah.
I dropped I spilled this and lucky the lid was on.
Oh, that's good.
But
As Bailey, it's an OP box.
Everywhere.
Open box.
OP.
OP.
Greg. Stop sign.
Yes.
Good song that. You should look it up.
OP. Yep, exactly. So the thing is something like this. So I'm going to use the edge of this bread clip. It's kind of these angles are already there, and I'm just going to cut that out, and I'm going to cut out two of them.
Now, out of curiosity,
What's
Yes, sir.
is this going to have a mount to it for for the pivot? So are we going to be drilling a hole through it or something?
Yes, we will. We're gonna. I don't know if you want to do the pin thing or. I was actually gonna do. I was thinking about using a piece of sprue as the rod to go through.
Sounds good. I like that idea.
Say what?
I like that. Continue.
Okay. Cool. So I'm going to just roll with this shape I've drawn on this bread tie.
Yep.
For sake of ease and quickness.
Cool.
And what are you looking at lengthwise?
This is a lot thicker. This is about 1 mil thick.
Oh,
what were you saying, Gio?
Can you measure that? Like the length is of that?
The length of this bread clip?
Yeah.
Like how wide you're going to make that piece? Because if we're going to run a sprue and shit through it, like how far back should people make that go, you reckon?
Oh, you mean how like deep the actual this measurement? This measurement. It is about what was that?
Do I really say reckon that much? Okay.
Reckon for James.
About how many?
I don't know. It's funny. You don't realize what you say a lot of it until you think you see yourself or hear yourself say it all the time.
True.
It's about 1.2 centimeters.
So about 11 mil.
Yep, about 11 mil deep. And we're gonna make it. I think it's probably all said and done. And it's gonna be probably just as wide as his arm.
Yeah. And does it hang down past his arm at all?
No. So what it's gonna do? It's gonna be. This is actually it's flip flop. I think because this is if the way I drew it, it's a little narrower down on this side. Anyway, it's gonna be something like this.
Oh, so it'll actually come the whole way up.
It'll come up because we need. So we need. If I can hold this and see, where'd my rod go?
Do you want to sketch the side profile so I can see what it will look like?
Sketch
on a bit of paper.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost in the sauce here.
Oh, that'll work. Yeah.
Does that help you out?
Yeah. No, I get you. I get how you're doing it.
So I'm thinking the mounting bracket will be up here, but we just need something to attach to the arm. But we need to get that height to get over the shield.
Yeah.
So I don't know really how that's going to look, all said and done. But
what about I don't know, maybe say this is the back of the arm. So there's your arm with the connector, and here's the shield. So, would you build say your connector box? Couldn't you do something like that instead?
Sorry. Yeah.
So if it's so there's the arm, whatever, and then have your mounting hard point up here for the camera to shoot off. So you got your shield and the arm, and do a mounting bracket like that, maybe.
So where's the hinge of the barrel?
The hinge of the barrel would then end up at this section at the top. So the barrel would run through.
Oh,
sort of the shoulder cannon from Predator.
Yep.
Yes. I was actually looking at those. Yes.
The mounting would be Michael Jackson Predator, the other Predator.
Wow.
Whoa. Wow. Yeah. An actual Predator shoulder cannon where it's it's on a. Yeah.
Not a sexual predator.
Not a sexual predator. Later, Gary. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
I love that idea. So I guess what we could do. I love sexual predators.
My bread clips has got nubs on them. Look.
Oh,
yeah.
Mate.
See, I don't know. See, I'm using a pretty deep bread clip here, so I don't know.
I'm just gonna switch to regular styrene, I think.
Yeah. We could look for that shape in here. I mean, look right here.
I had another idea for the bread clips as well.
What's that?
Well, how they've got the inner part where they have the two hooks.
Yes.
I think I have one here somewhere. I'm just trying to find where I threw that bread clip. I only had one. But if we cut off just those hooks, I thought about gluing them to the front of the chest, how on vehicles where they connect chains and shit to towing and stuff. You could use them as they could use them as hard points and just use the little hooks as two little hard points, so we could throw some chain work off this dude or something because a cool little added detail.
Well, and see, that's the thing is, and when you see these, like, that's all that these are. So, like, when I was doing that Power Ranger, I actually went through and I cut all these little tiny. I made all the teeth for the helmet off the thread ties.
Genius.
It didn't work. It actually it looked like shit. But the first time I tried that. So I'd like cut all these off, and they just were too big. They were out of scale. So I needed something smaller. So,
but that's the cool thing about
this thread tie right now. I mean, we can get an L bracket right from this. I mean, do you see it, Jimmy? You see it in there?
Oh yeah, I do.
So we could literally take. Literally, here we go. We could take just two of these. Cheers.
Cheers.
We could take two of these and just cut this bit off, and we could sand it down and cut it and have our bracket.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get any bread clips either. I thought I had one, but obviously I didn't. So I'm just going to have to sort of draw one to my own thoughts. If that's okay with you guys, I will have to be different.
What does everyone think out in the interweb?
Interwebs? What do you guys reckon?
So hang on.
Oh, I did say reckon again.
Cheers. See, it's sucks,
another one?
Yep. Cheers.
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 I'm going to have to go to the fridge and get another beer now.
That's why I went and grabbed two more.
All right, I'm gonna make mine on a dish shape probably. So
what do you reckon? Fuck, Jesus Christ! As Omega Gabe has just said, I reckon I could literally get drunk watching y'all.
Okay. Again.
Hell yeah, Gabe! I reckon I could literally get drunk watching y'all. I fucking love that.
What were you thinking, Rob?
Yeah. Pen doesn't work.
Oh,
need a pen.
Oh, fuck's sake.
See, like, this is, I dig the ideas, keep it up. And this is 100% what goes through your mind when you're trying to scratch build something. It's
just ideas, man.
I'll have this idea. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's take that and try to modify it and see what we can come up with. And that's why, like, I slightly overjudged how long this episode would take. We probably should have started a bit earlier.
Yeah, well, we can end. We could always do part 2.
Yeah, we could always come back and continue on the same thing, but I reckon we'll... Fuck! Drink!
Damn, I have to open another beer.
I don't even realize you say it, though. That's what's funny. It's like...
Either do I.
It's just James.
What's his word? I reckon.
Yeah, pretty much.
James' speech pattern.
I can't help that.
What do you reckon?
Oh god, I'm gonna get too drunk playing this. I gotta go to the fridge.
It's like new. It's like 1:30.
It's what? Sorry.
It's what time is it there? Like 2:00 now. 1:30.
Almost 2:00.
Almost 2. Getting trashed at 2. It's Sunday though.
It's Sunday. Yeah, Sunday beers.
I kind of have an idea, but I can't articulate it, so I'm gonna do it and then explain how I did it. If that
sounds good.
Sounds perfect. Hey, Jimmy, what's the what was your? Let me see your idea again for your bracket.
All right. So what I'm thinking.
My idea is rubbish. I want to make Jimmy's idea.
So what I'm thinking, right, is it's going to mount off like that, and then I'm just going to box this out. I might just cut a bunch of pieces and glue them all together. I'm not entirely sure because it might be better solid.
I'm trying to make that out of bread clips.
Yep. So I'm just thinking because then if I do it this way. Once it hits there, I'm actually going to build a flat section for the gun, like at the back of it, so it's not going to be a full barrel at the back. So the barrel's going to sit here, and if I build a box section for this to attach to, I can then do a flat section that will slot inside to this piece. So if you look at it from front, front on, what I'm thinking is it would be like there's the side, there's the other side, and if I do something like that, right? So that's looking at this front on. So your shield, your arm and shield would be like this.
Yes.
So there's your shield. That would come over the top. So then the barrel is going to be mounted off a piece top-down view of it. So top-down view would be like, say
that. It's like the male
then,
bit go into that female bit.
So this penis here would slide into this vagina.
Yes.
and then we can run a pin, like we can run a pin through there, like the bit of sprue, and then glue it on the ends, and then that would rotate up and down.
I absolutely love it. It's just so good.
You guys are hilarious.
Come on, guys, family stream here. Have you ever been to a Four Horsemen stream before?
Who said that?
Bailey.
Who's got their fucking kids watching this shit right now?
You're at the wrong stream if you think this is family friendly.
Family stream. Whoa. It was funny. What was right before we started the stream, Jimmy said, "That's why you don't have a family." remember that, Jimmy?
Oh yeah.
And we laughed.
I'm just going to point out, so like because I can't be bothered cutting lots of these little thin pieces to stick them all together, I'm actually going to cheat and use how thick is this styrene? This
fucking 3 mil. It's 3 mil.
Is like 2.5.
That shit's hardcore.
So this was in my odds and ends pack.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one too.
Like, this is so thick. And you know what? It's really good.
Is it?
You know what comes in handy? Where's that plastic cutter? So for stuff this thick.
Oh yeah, exactly. The styrene.
This is where the first scribing tool that everyone buys, thinking it's a scribing tool, but it's not.
I never bought it.
See, if you look here, I like scratched off the word that said scriber.
I was there on stream when you did that. I remember when you did that.
Because it's just plastic.
It's just plastic.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just transfer this to that. Now, I reckon it'll be... Fuck!
Oh, cheers.
I'm going to go get another beer. I'll be back.
Well, hey, James, if you're going to make it that thick, it's going to go past the arm then.
What's that?
Do you want it? It's going to go past the arm. You know what I mean? If you're using it out of something this thick, how's it going to mount to the arm?
What do you mean?
Like, where is it going to? If you're having two halves of the box, and if you're using 2 mil thick, and the box you're trying to glue it on right here it's going to be going past. You know what I'm trying to say?
I'm going to be using 3 layers of this. Yeah, so this will be 3 layers. So if you look here, it is essentially 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing now. I can wrap my brain around what you're talking about.
So if you look at this shape here, right? So the first one I cut will look like this. So I'll cut 2 that look like this shape, and then the third one I'm going to cut is actually going to be
that minus that
shape. So then when I glue 2 of these on the outside and glue this one on the center, that gives me this sort of like shape as we discussed earlier. Yeah?
I dig it.
All right, I'm going to go grab a beer because I just finished this one, and I'll be back.
Do it. Rob, Geo, how are you guys doing?
I kind of like...
Meh.
Say something.
What, Gio? What's going on in your brain? What are you thinking, man?
So, like, hold on, stand by, because I want to make sure that I can articulate exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I just want to know what you're doing.
So I took this strip, right? Hold on. Let me move everything around. I'm not a scratch builder, but this makes sense in my head. Hold on. Oops, where am I at? So can you see this? Is the lighting okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of crappy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I took the piece of the arm off, right? And I've got 3 of these sheets, so like it's perfect to the back of the arm. Hold on, let me do this. Right? So it's like perfect thickness, but it's double the height of the arm. So I was thinking of then making a box to go over where the cannon fits on the inside coming out. So like you have this, and then imagine there being like a hexagonal wall. I'll draw it. Hold on. I'll draw it.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds good.
I grabbed multiple just in case I speak too much. How are we all going since I last saw you?
Good.
Drinking peachy keen. I just
You well?
like your idea a lot better. I just want to
Thanks,
build what you're
man.
making.
I do what I can, you know.
I like it. So are you going to how are you going to cut all that? I just want to see what you're doing, and I want to build. I'm waiting for you to build what you're building so I can build it.
I don't know if this is going to work, to be honest. I've never actually worked with styrene this thick.
So I will tell you. I'm trying to find that axe that I built. The Power Ranger axe.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The entire center is made out of a solid piece of that styrene. It's 3 mil. So it was a bitch. The best thing I can say is you use a Dremel tool.
Yeah?
Yeah, I used a Dremel tool and cut it and then filed it down and sanded it because it's a bitch.
If this doesn't work, I'll do it another way. I'm just winging it here, to be honest.
So then the other way is to just make it out of like 1 mil, just make a bunch of them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll make that shape and just get it going on 1 mil.
Oh, that works well. All right, so using that plastic cutter, I just scored it. Now I'll need to file, obviously, the edges because it's kind of rough and shitty. But for cutting it quickly, that works fine. So I'm just going to continue. I'll try both methods. So just using a sharp hobby knife as well, give it that go, and it's just going to take more cuts.
See that shape again.
No, scratch that. It's not going to work.
Oh, that's not going to work. Does not matter.
Did it work?
So far, so good.
I reckon.
It's pretty thick.
That's what she said.
Woo!
Oh, thank God I'm not doing shots.
Why not?
Because, no.
All right, so
Yes,
essentially you could do this what do you call it, like the box method. It'd probably be easier in the long run.
Well, I'm thinking I like your method better because the hinge is built into it. You know what I mean? If you do the box method, it's going to be, I don't know. I like that idea better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it out of bread ties, just like stack them.
Yeah, see, that's probably quicker, to be honest.
So that's what I'm just kind of making. I'm trying to see what your shape is like, and I'm going to just make it out of 4
essentially making a J sort of shape.
A J. Yeah, I guess it is a J.
Like a backwards J, also known as an L.
No.
Oh, God. I'm sorry to streamers.
Oh, I remember when they used to make fun of me on these things.
Oh, just wait, Gio.
Oh no!
I'm waiting for you to spill something.
It's not gonna happen.
Everyone is waiting for the spill. Ah, shit! I just broke it.
Oh, you broke it.
Excuse me.
So, in other words, styrene this thick sucks, and I don't want to use it ever again. So, we're just going to go for the box method.
I think what if you actually need a Dremel?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about It's like Dremel.
I'm gonna mount mine on the backpack.
What did you say,
How are you managing that, sir?
I'm thinking, because I was thinking of like this, putting the fucking leg on the arm. That's not gonna work.
What?
I was thinking of something like this, just to, it looks like one of those pirate fucking cannons, man. Like it's got that kind of
Oh,
shape.
cool.
But mounting it on the actual shoulder, it's gonna look weird. Plus, I don't know, the shield won't move. So I was thinking of probably doing that, still have that shape, but doing it off the backpack here, maybe.
See, that's what my original idea, but you have to make the jog over to get it past the head.
Yeah, I reckon if I just make grab one.
I'm gonna just cut off.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but I think we could still do it, Taz, because I wanted to take it off the backpack too.
Yes, Bailey, an ultrasonic cutter would be ideal.
Spare fucking $800, bro.
Alright, so if you'll see this is a rough shape I'm going for my mounting point. I'm thinking something like that. So side on, it's going to stick over like such. If Taz says, reckon, do we drink?
No. But you just said it, so we drink.
What's my trigger word?
I don't know.
You just giggle.
I always thought it was your giggling.
Whenever you giggle, we drink.
But then again, I think you must be saying it a bit as well, Taz. And I think it's just an Australian thing.
What's that?
No, Taz, he said... he just said it. He just said it. Yeah, I don't know.
I reckon.
I reckon.
I think
most
Aussies say that shit though.
Say what?
Reckon.
Oh yeah, fucking
Oh, cheers. God damn it, I'll need another beer after this one.
I reckon, yeah, they do.
Hey, well, if we come up like this, guys, we could go. This actually goes past the head.
What's that, sorry?
You're getting Jesus drunk.
Like, this is from the backpack. This piece I just cut. And if I go high enough, it goes back. It goes past the head. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we could have Taz. You see what I'm cooking here, man?
Yeah.
So then we could have this.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, my child.
How are we doing?
Jesus. It was the feedback.
Oh, I'll get you. Thinking maybe like that.
Oh well, that's the same. So if you notice, I think the problem I have with that. So if you look at this, right, it is a little bit too close to the side of the head for my liking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it there until it dries.
But the shield.
Yeah. Whereas if I mount it, say.
So then what if we do this? What if we just take it off the side and go like this?
Sorry, 1 second. Let me flick the camera to you so we can see. Ooh, that's nice. I like that idea.
We had the shape like this.
Mm-hmm.
We just flip it like this. It's going to take it over. It's going to put it on top of the shield. That way the arm can move and everything still.
I might have mind.
I like that.
Do it like that way.
Yeah, I think actually I'm going to change that so the arm can also move as well. That's probably a better idea, Shane.
Well, it was Rob, and then it was mine, and then Rob, and then mine again.
With our powers combined,
we are
Captain Planet.
We are Planeteers. You can be one too. Saving our planet is the thing to do. Yeah? No?
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
He's a hero. Gonna take pollution down.
I can mute people again.
Oh, okay.
We got caught.
I like this weird shape like this. I'm thinking of doing it like that on a box.
That's pretty cool.
There's an open space there, and it's just kind of like, just dangly bits.
Oh, I love dangly bits.
Love dangly bits.
But I'm gonna make essentially an S shape, I think. So just trim that bit off, and but yeah, I'm gonna do what Shane does and somehow mount it. I think further there if it's gonna, or maybe that way. I'm not sure.
This is why it takes a long time. I mean, the scratcher building. I mean, we could basically. I don't know. We could end it. I don't know how much further we can take this.
So
let's all think about it, and I don't know. We're not going to finish this tonight.
No.
Part 2, I reckon.
So
quick part.
What do you think,
Jim?
Jim?
And then
we could finish this up and do detailing.
Do you want to do a quick demo, Shane, on making a moving hinge for someone, just out of some scrap, quickly?
A moving hinge,
like how we're gonna, how we're putting the bit of rod through a piece. Just quickly show them how to do that, because that's probably going to be the hardest part. Like what we're doing now is just trying to get to the box, whereas if we show them how to make the hinge, then that's like the more important lesson, because we've already shown them the box with like the Mohawk to lesson part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right from the box.
Let me get my things right together. I wasn't prepared for this.
Sorry, man. I just thought that might be more helpful.
No, it's great. No, I mean we were gonna get there eventually. I just didn't have my I don't have my pin vise out yet, and I need to. I'm gonna use a piece of runner. I just cut this off of the screw. This runner here. It's just a really straight piece. So I'm gonna take my calipers and just measure because I want to drill this. It's roughly 3 mil, and 2.5. I need a bigger drill bit. Would you use your 3 mil God hand, Jimmy?
What's that, sorry, mate?
Would you use your 3 mil God hand drill bit on this? Your drill bit?
Yes and no, not really. I just use a regular drill bit. Are you drilling the whole way through?
Yeah, I'm gonna drill all the way through, and
just use a regular bit. The flat bits are not good for They're great for doing recesses, but I wouldn't bother using them to drill through a piece.
All right, cool. Good to know, because I need a 3 mil, so I knew I had one of those, but I got a 3 mil.
You can if you want, but it's like really hard to keep them exactly where you want it.
Yeah.
Accurately.
So I'll use these 2 big zip tie or bread clips. So I mean, I'm just going to drill a hole through all of this shit.
Yeah.
The styrene, actually, this rod might be a little hard because this.
Yeah, that's what she said.
This tube might be a little difficult because it's not that thick. No matter what I say, it's an innuendo.
I'll put it in your endo.
Oh.
What? Oh, good times.
Best times. So I'm just drilling these out with the 3. I'm going to drill them out, and I'm going to center. So this would be like your box. So once you build a box or stack a bunch of styrene.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just going to drill a hole through all of them. Would help too if I drilled a pilot hole and then another hole, but I'm kind of do this hurriedly. Did that glue cost you $9 really, Taz?
Yep.
Fucking Christ.
Sorry, $9.50.
$9 American or Australian. So what is that like American? Like USA dollars? $6. Okay. That's not too bad.
But we have the Australia tax as well.
Well, everything's more expensive in Australia.
Correct. All right, so you've put a hole through it.
So I've got a hole through. But so this will, you know, this is both sides of said box.
Yep. Cool.
So then we were going to do this with pins too. So, I mean, you can do this. I've done this with paper clips. I've done this with, you can do this with aluminum tubing. I was going to pull this out. You can do this with, this actually may have been something better because it's a lot more durable and this is a lot thinner. But I wanted to go for sake of, you know, what people have lying around. So like aluminum tubing, this shit, you can get super, you know, thin, any wire. People use the guitar string. You could use like the fattest guitar string for like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Any sort of metal rod. So I'm going to be using this sprue here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it probably would help.
For argument's sake as well. Will that
what?
You know that tube that? Oh yeah, no, just sorry. Keep going. I'll let you say what you want.
I was going to use this tube, right? But since this is so thick, I mean, I can try, but I'm probably gonna wallow out the whole of the. This is only like 5 mil tube. If I'm putting a 3 mil, I mean, let's try it. Hey, why not? Let's see if I can put a hole through this.
Don't stab yourself.
I'm gonna make a little pilot hole with.
Yep.
Let's just see what happens. I'm not. Whatever. I don't think this is gonna turn out well. Oh. Heyo. Maybe.
Heyo.
Maybe if you put it in a bite, it'll work better.
In the who to what?
Put it in a bite.
I don't need a bite. I got mitts. I got mitts here, yo.
Is the screen not focusing on Shane? I thought I had it fixed on him.
No, it's on you, I think.
Really?
No, it's on him.
No, is it on me? I don't know.
No, it's on you. And then switch over.
I just saw a guy posted saying give the screen to Shane. Is it still on him, or is it not on him? I don't know.
Now on YouTube it is on him.
Okay, I don't know.
Sorry, I thought I had you selected the whole time.
So as you can see, we've had a little blowout here. We've had a little blowout on this tube.
That happens.
Yeah. Sure. What happened to me? I was gonna use a bigger. This would work better with a pen. What?
Cheers, guys. Right. I'm new at this thing. I'm fucking the terrible host.
Well, I lost my piece of sprue. I'm gonna cut another piece. What the fuck not? So bam, bam.
Thank you, man.
Yep. This isn't like rocket science. I mean, this is like as basic as a hinge can get, guys.
All right. So then, once you've done that, how would you?
So what I would do now? So I would do now is I would take. So once all of this is all working, I would come back with a piece of styrene and just cap these off.
Yep.
I would cut these a little shorter so they fit inside this, but then I would cover up them completely with another detail.
So you wouldn't actually glue that rod in? It's like the plastic cover that's glued?
This rod would be completely free floating.
Can you also
that way they would hinge? What I would do is I would cut it so like so once I had the box built, obviously this would not move, right? So this would be fixed. So what I would do is I would go and I'd pull it flush, and I would pull it almost all the way through on one side.
Yeah.
And then I'd cut this side. And then I'd push it through. I would glue it. When I would glue, I would have no glue around where this is on on each piece, then this would just be free. It would be free
Now,
floating.
how loose is that cannon? Like, is it going to hold itself up?
This, no, not at all. This will not do shit. I mean, this is a floppy. This is a floppy mess. But you can do what? So what you do this? You could use polycaps in a sense. Like I could you can use polycap material. You could use polycap sprue instead of using this runner. Use polycap runner, and it will give it some bite. But the thing is you use this. You take another bit like this, and you put another hinge here. Maybe not even make this with two, but you see what you can stack these hinges where then they'll fold in on themselves.
What?
So like imagine this not a tube. Imagine this another box. So you make three boxes in a sense, right?
Mm.
So you make three-sided boxes. They wouldn't have to be three-sided. I don't know. Imagine this being another box. Okay? And in that, so then there's another hinge here. Then there's another box. So that this box would fold into this box, then that would all fold into itself.
Like a
so then you would have like one. Yes. Yep. So then this could be on the backpack of something, and you could have something mounted here, and then as you would pull it out, it would unhinge itself in multiple parts.
Yeah.
You know
now,
what I mean?
out of curiosity, right? Say I grabbed some old polycap material that I have lying around, because I've got 1,000,001 polycaps, because that's a tighter plastic. Now, say I insert that polycap into the tube so the sprue slides through it. If I hard glue that sprue in paste so it doesn't move, and I'm using like a polycap to like have a tight joint.
Yeah.
For that tube to fit through, that would lock it in place, wouldn't it?
That would hold it, yeah. Depending on how much weight you have on here, I mean, if you had a bunch of weight on the tip, but yeah, no, if that would totally, you could fill this whole tube with a polycap material.
Yeah,
it would I mean, you could do it. You could even do it if you had, if I had a 3 mil tube, and I glued that tube inside this tube.
Yep.
So it was smooth all the way through, where there was surface area going all the way through that. The rod I used, I could put glue all over that. I could put teeth on it. I could put something on there that would create friction on the surface area through that tube inside that tube to hold it, to give it even more,
of
grip.
Course. The other thing, if I say, for example, like taking inspiration from existing kits. So say I've got all right, so I'll just flick the camera back to me for a sec. So I've got old mate polycap here, which is your standard like polycap that everyone's used for everything. Now if I say take this my box section and cut holes left and right for that to like slot in like this and essentially do the same thing, then I've got this as a polycap, and then off my cannon I could have a plug that pegs into it, and then that's going to be tighter and acts as a better hinge, wouldn't it?
100%. And then you could cover the backs. And what's great is that like those are 3 mil. That's, well, maybe not, those holes might not be, but they're mostly, those holes are pretty standard on polycaps.
Yeah.
So like, I could take this bracket right now and put one of those in it.
So
and as long as you don't put glue on it, you could encase it where it's just, you put more styrene on the outsides to cover it.
So yeah, on my one, I might actually use a polycap to make it rotate and stay.
I think I might too. So that's the the best thing you guys can do as scratch builders is keep all of your polycaps that you can find, you have and find. Because they're going to come in handy.
Heaps.
They're going to come in handy at some point. So save some bread ties too, because they're going to come in handy.
All right. Well, anyway, I will take a bunch of photos when I do my Canon anyway, from step by step.
I'm going to take a bunch of photos too of mine and my Mohawk and shit too.
And I'll put it into a story as well, and save it to my page, Instagram page, so people can see roughly how I've done things. So does anyone have any rough questions on what we have done for any of this?
I hope it wasn't a waste of time or anything.
Yeah, hopefully you did learn something from that.
Yeah, I'm like, I just built this. And I'm like, what? Like, I really just showed people this.
That's true.
All right. We shall quickly move on to just some pla plate detailing. So sleeve details, this won't take very long. And then if anyone has any questions, we'll go from there and pretty much end it out, yeah?
Sounds good.
All right, so what we're going to do is... no worries, Go Band. Yeah, any questions, like, hit us up. I know it was probably a little bit unplanned and a little bit awkward on that sort of detailing, but we'll get there. So what we shall do is I want to add... I'm just going to realise I've still got all the wires. So
yeah, Bailey, that is a good idea about chopping up the tabs. By the way, I'm just going to...
Oh, yes, for sure. All right, so I'm just going to put that shit aside for now. All right, so my usual method for working out like little details and whatnot I want to put on the kit, I'll just start drawing on a kit. We're going to piss off this hole as well. So yeah. I'm just going to grab some nippers straight away and just do that while you're watching this stream because that's going to be in my way. So I'm just going to remove that peg.
It's gone. Right. There it went.
Oh, no, you took up the butt.
All right, so what I recommend for doing, like, I reckon we have another drink because of what I've said.
Cheers.
I need another beer.
All right, so I'm going to sort of just sketch, like, a trim, like just a random trim to the armor. So I'll just run around the piece, sort of sketch out anything I can think might look cool. Yeah, we'll just do something like that. It's just... So as you can see, I've done... I don't know if you can see that. Sort of sketched a rough idea of what I want around there. We'll do the same at the back. So we'll come in. Let's do point to... Well, there's my center line. That's fine. We'll go to there and... Cool. All right, so I'm going to do a trim like this. So I've just quickly sketched out around a basic trim, and we're going to cover that with a little plate. So we might actually come down and do a square and cover that properly. All right, so after we have sketched that rough idea out, I shall take some tape. So masking tape is my favorite thing ever. I buy as much of it as I can because I use it a lot, not just for painting. And then the next part of that is take your tape.
Oh, it's complex.
What's that?
Sorry, I'm reading the chat.
Yes, that's 100% true, Bailey. I probably should have shown that as well. Yeah, if you sand the piece of the part before you start drawing on it, it helps the pencil stay. It works a lot better. But I'm just sort of roughing in an idea, so I'm not too concerned. All right, so once...
Yeah, that tape dispenser is boss.
What's that?
Bailey said, look at that boss tape dispenser.
All right, so once I've... Just going to put the tape on, sort of cut it as I can, like just get it on there, and then we shall work out... I can roughly see my lines underneath it. It's not too important, though, staying to where, so that's going to be a piece. And then once you've done that, using a sharp knife is very good. So I'm just going to use a sharp knife here to cut along the edge, cut down there. We shall run across like so. Back.
Motherfucker.
All right, so once I've cut those pieces, I can then quickly grab this slice piece of tape. So that there now is the shape of that. So
awesome.
Once we have then got that shape, we will transfer the tape to our 0.5 styrene. So just line it up with whatever. I'm generally a tighter, so I'll put it in the corner because I've got straight edges already. And then we shall continue on. I'll just do this piece as well. So
now, Jimmy, could you avoid drawing on the piece and just go straight to tape?
Oh, you could, but the reason I draw on the piece first is with tape, it's a lot harder to see what it's going to look like. So if I draw, say, this shape here, right, if that camera would focus, is that blurry as shit for you guys?
A little bit, but we can see it.
No.
Yeah.
So I get what you're trying to say.
If I draw like that, you can see how that looks.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I come along and then, say, draw the same shape that I know I'm already cutting out, so whatever, because I've already drawn it. If you then look at, say, that, it's a lot harder to see how that shape is going to look.
Yeah, I get it.
Because you got the tape you're looking through, it's not actually on the piece.
Whereas if you draw it there, it's you could do straight to tape, but I find it works for planning anyway. It works better to just draw on the piece.
I like that.
So we're going to then quickly just sketch out that design. All right, so that I'm going to use that. So I'll do the same. Just cut it. And a sharp knife usually helps. This knife's a bit blunt. Let me just swap. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Here's one I had prepared earlier.
So this is the same way I did all the sleeves on my Goof flight type. Most of the work I do for that sort of thing is all done with this exact same technique. So we'll then just quickly grab the knife and just cut along the edges. It doesn't matter if it overhangs it across a bit at the bottom, because once we cut it out, we're going to sand it and file it back anyway, so that's not overly important. All right, so then once we've done that, we'll just cut out our shape again. And the best part about doing tape is you can cut so I've got 3 different planes I'm working on here. 3 different angles of, and we'll just cut up and across to there. Yeah, that'll be cool. All right. So then we can just remove the tape. So now, as I'm pushing fairly hard, so I actually have scored the plastic.
Yeah, that was what I was wondering if, okay.
But it does not matter. You're going to be gluing plastic over it anyway, so you're not going to see it.
Glue anyway, right?
So then once I've done that, we'll quickly transfer this again. So because you can see this is a shape that's cut out on 3 different planes, so it's not dead flat.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the good thing about tape is I can peel it off, transfer it to here, and see how the shape's on that sort of weird angle. But then when I start gluing it and pushing it down along along this piece, it'll work well and it'll transfer that shape quite nicely. So, and because I want to make a left and a right as well for this, you can do that technique Shane was showing with the glue and cut 2 the same, or the way I've always done it is just use the tape as a template and cut the same thing twice. So it's probably less accurate, but within reason, it's not too bad.
No, I mean, it's the thing. It's a box. A box is one thing. A detail on 2 different sides, it's a little different.
Yeah, to be dead accurate, that would probably work really well. I'm not going to do that now in the essence of saving time.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the other thing is I tend to work a lot on one side of a kit, so I will cut one and just leave the tape on my bit of plastic.
Yeah,
and I'll come back to the other side maybe a day later, and then I've still got my template saved.
Perfect.
So that's why tape is another really good excuse to and it's good to have a panel line at the edge anyway for washers. Yeah, definitely, man. So here you can see, this is where the quick dry cement's really good, like the quick setting stuff. So I'm just going to line this up to where I want it, which is about there. So you can see like I'm overhanging this a little bit because of the tape, but we'll glue it on and just trim it flush afterwards anyway. So the only problem with this is it takes a lot of sanding because you're touching the edge with glue, so it's sort of, you touch the edge with glue, so it's a lot of cleanup afterwards, but it looks cool. So we'll just touch the edge just there, let the glue run in. And then just push it down. You'll see the glue start beading out. Like so. So I'm just going to hold it in place till it sort of sets a little bit. And then same, once you've got it in place, we can run under the underside. And we'll trim it, like you'll see, like I've overhung the bottom, which is good. You always want to go a little bit past the bottom so when you sand it, it ends up fitting a lot nicer.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing. Once I cut this, I just flip it over and then that's the other side done. So you don't need to cut a left and a right because you've already cut a left and the right if you look at it from front and back.
Yep.
So once that's in, I'll just like sort of push that on, let that dry. And this is where I love the quick dry cement because I will now quickly take my hobby knife and I find where I put it down. Where the fuck to go?
Huh. If it was in your butt, you would know.
Go for your fucking ball.
All right, so we can now just quickly.
No one laughed.
What?
I said if it was in your butt, you would know. And Courtney said no one laughed, and I said no one laughed.
No one laughed. Maybe because it wasn't that funny.
That's usually the case.
Ouch. It's all right, Shane.
No, it wasn't. It was about the delivery.
It's what's the lesson you learn here? Never try. You try it and you fail. What's the lesson? Never try. So then we can just quickly sand it, get it within, because I don't want to glue the next piece on while I'm trying to get the edges nice, because I want to get that nice before I stick the next piece in this section just here. So that's where the quick dry cement comes in, because I can just sit there and start filing and sanding already. So, and then it's a case of like just simply working around the kit. So we'll do the next piece and we can move on from there, I guess. You don't need to watch me do the whole thing, I'm pretty sure. So we'll just quickly cut out this one. I'm just crying for your lost sponsorships. What sponsorships? No one cares. Sponsors?
Oh, just in case. Medalla Light. Drink Medalla Light. We're getting a sponsor. It has to be beer sponsor.
Oh. Maybe I can somehow wrangle a beer sponsor. That'd be good. If anyone watching this wants to sponsor a beer and send us beers, I will happily drink them on stream for you.
And we'll also rate them.
All right, so
we'll do it in Spanish too.
Yeah.
Traído ustedes por Medalla Light.
And that's why we
La cerveza especial.
Beba sangría gasolina. Por favor, anyway. Manténgase alejado de las puertas. Keep away from the doors.
Oh, good times. All right. So now I've cut the second piece. Once again, like just
stuff.
when you're doing a like multiple faces off one piece of styrene, we'll just hold that in its initial point. Grab the extra thin, just enough that it will bite. We'll come in at the bottom as well. Get that side first. All right, so then we can use the hobby knife to sort of just push it down. Like I'm just pushing down, aligning it where I want it. Like so. And we'll just sort of leave that for a quick second till it bites a little bit more and just grabs hold a bit more before we start bending. Like really thin stuff, this cement, when you bend it around corners, will cause it to crack sometimes. And it's a pain, but you just fill it with more glue and hope for the best. So I'm just going to...
You made that look really easy.
What's that?
So you make this look really easy.
It is really easy.
Don't be mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, like right there, as soon as I touched it with glue, it just broke. Right there. So I'm just going to hold it now and just sort of let the glue do its job. And the thinner it is, like the easier it will bend. But at the same time, it's sort of neither here nor there. Like just keep at it, work. The piece is always salvageable. Styrene's good like that because I'll just keep going over the face. Who's in a wind tunnel?
Someone breathing on the mic.
Not me.
That's stopped now anyway.
Yep. The wind is...
Oh, sorry, could have been me.
All good.
I opened the window. I was close to my phone.
Ah, all good, mate. All right, so we'll just keep like touching it with glue.
Do you ever like coat the bottom? Like, so as you're going and you're wrapping, like coat the thin part as you're wrapping it, like
the what thin part?
The backside of the detail as you're adding it.
Not so, like I'll touch around the edge of it constantly. I'll go over the face again, around all the edges, just to let the glue really get in there. We're gonna file the fuck out of it afterwards anyway.
Yeah.
And like try to sand it down. So like I'll just use a knife to sort of, because it melts the plastic. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm like just pushing the melted plastic into those cracks.
Oh yeah, I can see. Awesome.
So just sort of work it and push it in there. Work it. Yeah. Ooh, just like that.
Okay, girl.
Yeah, work it.
Work it. What was that, sorry?
What was that, Jesus?
Well, it was work it, girl. Do your thing.
Exactly. That's yes. Ooh, yeah. All right, so it's a little bit messy, but that's why we sand. Exactly. Put your back into it.
Yep.
So this is the reason I like the quick setting stuff, because I can come in now and just file it and it's not gummy.
Yeah, I need to get some of that. They have some at my local. I just haven't.
So, and the other good thing about styrene...
They don't have it in my local. So.
The other good thing about the styrene is like, so I've got, if you look at this piece, it's flat, and then another flat. So because of the styrene, I like can then just hold that file on that angle, and I'm just going to make it have hard edges. So once I get this done, you'll see what I mean. So I'm trying to mimic the natural, like the existing angles of the skirt armor.
Right.
So we'll just go 1, 2, 3. So you'll see, like, so I've tried to put like a bevel, like, so it steps with how that goes. And then, like, just keep working your way around the piece with whatever design you sort of come up with, and that's like how I would continue around and do most of the trim. So it's the same, like exact same technique. If you look at I'll Make Goofier, so I've just done a small outline around the whole bottom, and that's just the technique I've used for that. And it's the same technique for doing, so I've just sketched these shapes out onto tape and then cut them out and transferred them and just glued the ply plate as I've gone along.
And what thickness is that?
This is all 0.5.
Okay, awesome.
Now
or is that just chiseled, the wing-ish kind of wing?
Yeah, so like those were just chiseled out. But yeah, so like for those details, so the other thing I tend to do, if you have, like, you can sit there with your knife and sort of scrape the edge of it as well, like, so just run along and get those details. But I tend to like to use, say, a chisel for this sort of thing, so I'll grab like a 0.5 maybe. Actually, probably bigger. You want it wide, thicker than your piece, so like maybe like a 1 mil chisel, and I'll just come along the edges of what I've made and just square it off.
That's not bad. I've been using my ceramic scraper for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just do it with a chisel because it's a hard edge.
Yeah.
And you can just sort of come along, and this is like the odd instances you'll see me push with the chisel. So that was pretty much the main detailing there. I would show you, like, same deal. Like, you can take your legs and run some detail around the cuff. That always comes up looking really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do some. I mean, shit. You do some around the
same
shoulder.
Same with the shoulder armor. Like, I'm not gonna do too much to the shoulder because we're gonna scribe the fuck out of that next episode.
I was thinking about doing some, like, we were seeing the heat sink with the bread ties. I was like, we could do a little panel of it on the
just on the shield.
Yeah, I was thinking if we could do like we would wrap around.
No, yeah,
that would be kind of cool. We're kind of just. But the thing about the bread ties is, like, they're so thick. It's like it's the scale. It's like it needs to be thinner plate almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, here's a quick. So, like, once you start kit, as Bailey said, it looks cool to see a whip covered in white plastic and putty. Like, so you can like glue all sorts of shapes and patterns. So, like, if you've ever seen, say, the random detail, so you can come along and grow. I want like a ornate sort of thing. So you'd sort of put a spike out there and have like a little flower sort of arrangement or some sort of ornate detailing you could put on there, and just cut it out of white plastic the same, stick it on, and you can do like a full trim. Just sort of stuff like that. So I'm just going to pretty much go around and fill out this detail around the skirt. I might put some around there as well, the back of the hands maybe, I don't know, just sort of have fun with it. But as I was going to do the same, so I'll continue the trim around the bottom, and I'm just going to putty up this hole, to be honest, and just fill it up. So that'll just get smoothed out so it's nice and flat. And then I guess the last thing we show and call it a night, or are you guys about done there?
That's good for me, man.
All right. Do you want to take this next one, Shane, and go over pla plating the back of the hand to make it finished?
Oh yeah.
Or otherwise, someone else can take that one.
Well, what I did with the back of the hand, so what I usually do is put green stuff on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I can sand it and then redrill the hole.
Not bad at all.
You can do that. It just doesn't get as clean of like flat. I mean, I guess you could get it.
I basically put enough so I can sand it down.
You could do that,
and it'll be flat.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. That's
no, of course, it's a different way. what way were you thinking, Shane?
I mean, I was going to just glue a piece of freaking styrene on the bottom of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And how are you going to get that shape?
Well, I would just trace it, and then we've got two angles here, so I would do is there's a few angles. It's like green putty might be the way to go.
So the way I usually will do something like that is what I'm doing right now. So I've put a bit of masking tape over the bottom of it, and then I'm just using my knife to cut around. So the same way I do my other details is extremely sharp knife to
tape,
and then cut the tape to the shape of the hand.
It's a great way to make like skirt details. Like when you want to make it's same way to make like an under skirt detail, tape and cut lines, and because you're trying to get into a recessed area, so you want the template of what you want the inversion of the cookie cutter.
Yeah, of course.
So you get it with the tape, man. Yeah.
So I'm just going to quickly cut that. This is why I want the masking tape nippers.
Oh, yeah, they'll be there now.
Yeah.
2 days.
So the masking tape nippers is, so if you see this, like I would just, because if I could use nippers to just quickly cut around the piece like that, that'd be so much better. It'd be a lot quicker for me to do that sort of thing. So I'm just going to quickly...
It'd be so much quicker.
Cut that to there, cut that to there. And like I'll end up cutting the hole afterwards if I need it. Alright, so there's that. We'll just grab the 0.5 again because that's what I have on hand and everyone, I expect.
That's what we told people. Yeah, 0.5's like it's a great...
It's just a good size.
Really, it's the best to work with.
I will just cut that. Within reason, like it doesn't have to be bang on. I just want it roughly to the right size so when I stick it on, it will be less trimming and cleaning up.
By the way, when you're losing green stuff, a little bit goes a long way.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
That way you don't end up with a lot like I did.
Well, the thing is too is you can put it in the freezer and it will it'll slow the cure for a few days. I've had epoxy putty for like 3 days workable in the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
So if you mix up a little too much, throw it in the freezer, and then maybe you can make I was trying to do like the Pee-wee ball, where like every time I had a little extra, I would just put it into a ball, and then add to it, and then it just kind of got stupid. So I throw it in the freezer for a few days, and then what happens usually is I forget about it, and then like 2 weeks later, I go to my freezer, and I'm like, oh shit, there's my fucking putty. And at that point, it's done. But
all right, so. Now I've stuck the first bit on. I'll do the same up top and fill in this piece. But once that dries,
that's what I was going to have to make.
Just work your way around.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much don't need to use the tape anyway. Like there's a slight gap in there, which because of this space of the hand, it's not really needed. But just let that dry, and then you can. Grab some nippers, trim it as required. Just
don't cut yourself.
Don't cut yourself. That's always a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see, like, because of how the hand is, let's cut that flush there. Mate, I'm just actually going to grab one of my offcuts, and it's about 0.5 difference. So if you can see where the fingers... Focus. See where the fingers meet that base part of the hand and it's a different height. So I'm actually just going to take another bit of 0.5 and slide that. slide that in there, like something like that. Don't want to go too far in, so I've just got it sort of on the angle like so, and then we shall stays there, stay. Just get some glue in that shit. Oh yeah. Let that dry, and then you can just come back in again.
I always keep my little bits of styrene just like that.
Oh yeah, like every offcut I have, like all these little bits, I put in a bag, and I've got heaps of them just kicking around for stuff like that. You never know when little bits here and there will come in handy. So then, yeah, just trim away, so on and so forth. And just build it up. Then we'll just pretty much just cut a square hole in the bottom of that will suit that if I need to put anything through the hand to continue the hole. So just, work your way. And then once, as I said, you can just go around and start filing. And that's pretty much all you'd need to know for filling in the base of a hand. Putty's easier, I guess. It just takes longer to dry. But I like this because I can do it quickly and work on it quickly and call it a day and be done with it. Anything else you want to talk about? Oh, actually, I got one more thing, sorry. I'm just going to keep being annoying. Last thing, I promise. Because I watched an episode of Tested and I'm so obsessed with this ever since. So just a strip of styrene and just tiny little, I'll just cut tiny little squares, like rectangles, and gluing 2 of these on just as little greebly details is by far, it looks great, it works well, I am obsessed with it. So I'm just going to add a quick little detail to up here is I'll pick up one of the little rectangles with my knife. Sort of just put it roughly where I want it. A touch of the quick cement, dry cement, extra thin. Grab the next one as well. I don't know why, but like ever since I saw this, I'm like, that looks cool, and I got obsessed with it, and I've been doing it constantly now.
Well, now that you say that, I've noticed it, so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to relook at all your shit.
Yeah, if shit flies away, just cut another piece, whatever. They're tiny. So, like, it's all over the goof I've done a heap of these little details. And it's just, like, cool little added raised details for free. So, a little bit of glue, and you can do it with all little odds and ends and circles and different shapes as well, which is cool. And it just sort of adds a little bit more interest. So we'll just glue a couple on, and it just sort of adds that little detail.
Look at that.
So then, well, if you look at like the goof as well, so I've like thrown some on the shoulder here.
Yeah.
I've thrown like just some on there.
Some on the wing.
Some on the wings. Like if you look at like, I've got larger ones on the feet. I've got some up the top here as well. I like started going nuts with it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is kind of fun. I should stop, but I can't help it. And it's the same with like little other grooves underneath. So I started putting like little straight lines and circles and all different sorts of shapes on there because why not? So that is what that is. So essentially, there we go. So we've gone over making some box section. A few little details. You can throw them everywhere. It's kind of fun. There's like added skirt details. And yeah, I think that's pretty much wraps up this episode, I would say, yeah?
Yeah, I think we've covered a lot. I mean, too much, I think. But yeah.
Hey, look, I did some detail.
What's that, Dan? Hold on, let's have a look.
Yeah, I did a little no Zaku Boy added detail there. Can you see it? Is it bad?
It's a bit blurry for me, but that's probably my connection.
Hold on. Does this smell better? I just got to see in the glue lines.
That is to be expected. Yeah, it's a bit hard to see, but
it's just blurry, man. It's not. It's like I'm sure it looks amazing.
It doesn't, but I apologize for the blur.
All right. Well, I think
I know. I'm sure it looks awesome, man.
I'm thinking with that, then we might wrap up this episode there.
Yeah. What are we gonna do next time, guys?
So next time we should have our little details finished for the stream. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get the cannon done and show you. Unless you want to build the rest of the cannon, like plan out your cannon, Shane, and want to build it in the rest of the start of next week's episode. It's up to you if you want to show the rest of the cannon build.
I think we can. I think we can just go over it. You know what I mean? We can just touch on it. I think in every episode we should just we'll go over. But I think that I don't think we should go any we shouldn't go any stream in depth time. But we'll batten down your design, my design. We'll get it all hashed out and. Taz, we'll get it all worked out. I'm going to take pictures along the way too and do posts and stuff about it.
So we'll do as much as we can through our Instagram accounts. Links below as well for those in the description. Shameless plugs. But yeah, if you follow our Instagram stories, we'll try to upload as much as possible on exactly how we do the cannon, so you guys can do it as well if you want, or at least get some sort of idea on how we've come up with it.
Guys, you can do whatever you want.
It's just I'll try to post as much anyway, so you can, if you are following along similarly, it just makes it a little bit easier to do the same sort of building. But anyway, there's that, and next week we will focus on scribing, I think. So we will start.
Thanks for the invite. Sorry, it took me long to get in. Thanks for getting me drunk.
So next week we will go over scribing. So the scribing episode, I'll just let you guys know now what I will recommend. So the cheapest thing I will recommend everyone gets if you want, is some Dymo tape.
I gotta get that stuff.
A trumpet describer such as this thing.
Dymo tape.
So Dymo tape, trumpet describer. We'll need a hobby knife. And that's pretty much the three basic things you'll need for that episode. If you want to splurge a little bit more and buy something nicer, something like a Madworks chisel, which is a cheaper scriber. So this is a 0.15. Something like that would be, I think they're about, how much are they over stateside? I think they're about $20 here for one.
Depending on the size, I think they're in the $20 range. I could be wrong.
So this is about $10. This is about double the price. But it is a lot better and nicer to use than this. And then I will also be showing the comparison to then, say, a BMC chisel. So this is a 0.125, which is my go-to. But these are obviously a lot more expensive. So I don't expect anyone to really rush out and buy these, because as good as they are, they're super expensive. But like I said, for the cheapest way, just these three things, I'll show you how to use these, because this is where I started, and it's still a good tool. And then I'll also go into some detail on showing how to scribe some notches, say using a 2mm chisel, how to do other little details, say using a 0.4 or a 0.3, But obviously, you don't need to buy these. I will just show you how to use them. But that'll be towards the end of the episode. We'll go over just all your basic line work first, and just planning and how to come up with those ideas. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Thank you. Jesus, thanks for joining us. It has been a pleasure. Next week we will be asking another person who's joining along to join the stream, so look out for that for the next special guest. Geo patting a bird will make an appearance. You never know when you want this picture hanging out. If you guys, if you want a
I'll
copy
also
of
be
this,
posting my little cannon for the Zaku too on the Instagram.
awesome, man. We're definitely keen. So yeah, as always, we've got the hashtag to use for that. It has been a pleasure. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging around, especially for you guys in the States that are up rather late. It has been a pleasure, and I guess, does anyone want to say goodbye or anything else before we end this?
Bye.
Thanks, Bailey.
Goodbye, guys.
Hi, guys. Thanks for
Traído ustedes por Medalla Light. Viva Medalla
When are
Light.
we gonna paint, man?
What's that, mate?
Taz ready to paint, man.
Thing, dude.
Painting will be the stream after next.
We got one more stream. Then it's all Taz. Then we'll be sitting going, "What's going on?" I can't wait till Taz talks the whole stream.
Yeah, I know. Soon it will be Taz not shutting up. It's going to be amazing.
They'll be like, "Fuck, dude, hang on, I'm not done yet." And then they'll be like, Taz will be like, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay."
That is true.
It's gonna be funny. So, the 2 episodes from now, the dynamic's gonna be completely different. We're all gonna be like, "What?" And Taz is gonna be giggling and talking the whole time. And we're gonna be like,
when
"What?
I'm hosting the stream, masks are required. You're gonna have to get it your weathering products plus your GIMP mask.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What GIMP mask? Oh, what Taz is fucking leading this thing there, isn't he?
All right, guys. Well, anyway, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
From the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, thanks for watching, and we will catch you at the next stream.
All right.
All right, guys.
Adios.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.
Literally.
And